Que pasa, que pasa, que pasa, loyal members of the Wrestle Talk family. It is I, your boy, the Night Owl, fired up and excited for a new episode of the WTP. And guess what? We are coming off the biggest weekend of the pro wrestling year. Many would assess it as the Christmas of the pro wrestling year. Others would call it the bar mitzvah, or maybe even my personal favorite holiday, my birthday. My own birthday. That's how WrestleMania weekend feels. I know the adulation is still in the air from all of the world of professional wrestling fans. And guess what, guys? Here to share that joy, that excitement with me is a guy that's never short on energy and never short on things to propagate and to announce and to more or less highlight when it comes especially to put himself over. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only, the proprietor of the city on the hill, the one and only Richard Douglas.
So I'm sitting here, I'm trying to get out information, and I like the backhanded introduction. I think it's great. And, Renee, I'm happy to be here to, basically what happens is this is the Wrestle Talk after Mania. And that's not to toot my own horn, but you would have to call in the A squad for this type of situation. And, needless to say, we're going to talk about that. I got to talk a little bit of business myself, and I'm excited to be here tonight with two good guests and yourself, Renee Martinez, with a little bit of a sinus problem. That's how much of a trooper I am. That's how much I care.
Wait. So we go from you missing work repeatedly to now showing up to work while you're sick? What has provoked this change, Richard Douglas? This isn't like you, bro. You're not the kind of guy that's going to go above and beyond from what I've seen thus far in 2020 of you.
Well, it's very rare you don't see me with a, clean-shaven face and feeling better, but that's okay because, Renee, it's what I've been trying to tell you this entire time. I've been with the people, for the people, by the people, and this is another prime example of it. But neither here or there, needless to say, we're going to have a good show.
We are going to have a good show indeed. And I will tell you, man, you alluded to it a little bit earlier. We do have two fantastic guests. Jason Mortis is going to be joining us. I remember him back when he was still wrestling inside the Squared Circle. He's since moved on to having some success in the world of media, particularly the streaming world. His Twitch channel is absolutely on fire. He's also doing some moderating for WWE Hall of Famer. We'll talk about her a little bit later on the show. And then the second hour, man, a Midwest pillar, man, a guy that's been around the pro wrestling world for a long time, a guy that's making waves not only in Nebraska, but all throughout Missouri, Kansas, Arkansas, Iowa, and beyond, the one and only Brian Blade, man, a guy that runs MWA. Very, very exciting stuff. And as a matter of fact, if you think about it, we actually have two guys that are running things on a separate level. Well, we all know Brian Blade, what he means to MWA. But also Jason Mortis as the general manager of the new upstart company, PIW, which we're going to be talking about extensively during our interview in the first hour. Man, that's pretty exciting stuff, right?
Oh, it's awesome. To have that information and to talk about it no better day than the, week after a great WrestleMania, in my opinion, probably the best in 10 years. We'll talk about that in a second. But what better way to kick off this
Dick Douglas putting over WWE. Man, I'm glad I'm here. I can't wait to hear you say something positive.
You can tell I'm sick. I can't. No, it is what it is. You call it as you see it. And when you add that on top of what we're talking about with two great guests, it makes for a great show. And if we didn't have the national anthem, it'd be even better. But
hold on. Let's give that a try. No, wait a second. We're going to have to give that a try because from what I understand, we're going through some technical upgrades. Oh, and cool. So we've been working on syncing the audio up to this point. That's why you guys didn't hear the intro. They're still tweaking, but let's see if we can't get that audio going. Let me know if you can.
That's neat. Very neat stuff. Okay.
No. Sounds like we're still not getting anything, guys. Guys, I really need you guys to shore this thing up over here. I mean, seriously, we've got fans. We're live, and I can't even get my intro playing. I mean, this is a little disrespectful. I'm going to be honest with you, but we will continue to work on the audio. You guys know we've got new music. We've got some new drops and stuff like that. So we're going to continue to work on that throughout the progression of the show. But that's not going to stop us, bro, because my understanding is that if the audio doesn't work, it's somewhere in the fine print of your contract, you're obligated to sing it for us. So go ahead and get yourself ready, or we can sing it together. I will admit, though, I don't know all the words. Are you ready?
I didn't agree to that.
I'm being serious. It's in the fine print, bro.
Yes, go for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to please respectfully remove your caps, place your hands over your hearts as we pay homage to the greatest country on God's green earth, and that's America. And sing it. Oh, say, can you see?
There we go.
By the dawn's early light.
This is very degrading.
What's so great? Okay, that's it. That's enough.
Save that for Roseanne, man. We're better than that. We
absolutely killed that. So, as is mandatory, brings a tear to your eye. What, Douglas? Brings a tear to your eye every
single time.
There you go.
Yeah. Amen.
Very, very nice.
Because of COVID, we've taken precautions at the office. So now that I'm not feeling good, we don't have anyone running any of my material, sheets. So I'm doing this all on the top of my head.
What do you mean running your material sheets? Are you saying you're actually having to fend for yourself for once?
No, I mean, we always do, but whenever you have a team of people that's full of warriors, full of just animals, you pick them over just yourself.
You say animals?
Oh, they're great. They're animals. They're a great team. And we're actually going to be releasing a video in the coming weeks talking about our team.
Wow. Okay. Well, I can't wait to hear it. We'll get into that and a lot more. But if you wouldn't mind there, Mr. Douglas, I'm going to go ahead and go solo here real quick because we have got to put over the wonderful sponsors of the Wrestle Talk podcast, including Everything Combat featuring Jake Hollywood and Pat Bilicic, Kincaid Arcade, where we just hosted our yearly watch party, UniverseMania 8, Esports Bar KC, a loyal friend, follower, and sponsor of the Wrestle Talk podcast for a very, very long time. And let me just say this, just because we're not doing the watch parties there anymore doesn't mean that the love ain't the same. So shout out to my boy B. Will. He's having a lot of success there with football. Here. Yeah, he's having a lot of success there with football. He's having a lot of success there with all the, the Xboxes and the PlayStation he has. But you know what they're particularly successful at there, Dick? They are particularly successful on Thursdays. They do two-stepping, like Chicago-style two-stepping. So big shout-out to Esports Bar KC, also I-70 Sports Media, and, of course, by affiliation, our friends over at Talking Dynasty, Royal Mills Transportation, Painter's Dream Production, Rathbun Engraving, Me Fiesta KC Party Rentals, Nobleman's Barber Lounge in Kansas City, Missouri. Make sure you guys ask for Pete the Barber. And last but not least, the world's premier fantasy wrestling promotion, the FWWC. As a matter of fact, the FWWC is a part of my Shoot and Shout later this evening. So you're going to definitely want to stay tuned for that. Mr. Douglas, you're going to want to stay tuned for that, bro, because I'm going to go off, and it's concerning the FWWC. I want to make sure you're ready because my adrenaline is going to get pumping, and it's going to get real intense in here, Daddy.
Absolutely. And, hey, I love that. But I have a question.
What's that?
What is, explain to me, somebody from St. Louis, Chicago two-step. What is this?
Chicago two-step is a traditional dance predominantly originated in the African-American community.
Okay, cool.
You can two-step to things like Isaac Hayes and Barry White, some of R. Kelly's earlier stuff.
So believe it or not, now I know what you're saying now. Okay, believe it or not, there was a political figure that was in office for a period of time that I know that was just a killer when it came to two-stepping it. In all seriousness, really? I can't say who it is because I don't know if I can. But yeah, no, for shoot, yeah, that's a real thing. I know what we're talking about here. That's awesome.
Imagine being in politics and being able to cut a rug, baby.
Not me.
Gangster to me. That sounds gangster to me. Well, I'll tell you what, bro, we got a lot to get into here tonight.
Absolutely.
We're immediately going to transition into the high spot segment. And let me tell you something, man. I'm excited this week. Clearly, there's a lot to talk about. We don't ever really struggle for content here. You know this, Dick Douglas.
Right.
But, bro, we've got more than enough to get into this week. Obviously, we're going to encourage everyone out there, the members of the Wrestle Talk family, to please participate, okay? To please participate. You can shoot us a message, We'll shoot you the link. You can go ahead and join us on today's broadcast. Just make sure you got a strong take. Make sure you got a strong take. Like that one. Listen, like that one right there.
This is a prime example. This is a prime example. I came out. I'm in a good mood. I've been nice, and I get dragged for it. This is why we stand up to lobbyists. And Sonny's a lobbyist fan. He's a great host.
A lobbyist.
A lobbyist fan. He supports a certain group of wrestlers and pays for them to live via merchandise.
Whoa.
Via going to their shows.
Sir.
Excuse me.
We're going to need receipts for all these accusations.
I'm just saying. I heard it, and I accuse him of it because it's the truth. But we'll move on to high spot.
You accuse him of it because it's the truth? I mean, come on, man. You have nothing to substantiate.
It's a known fact.
Oh, my gosh. Okay,
what? Come on.
Here we go. Now the fans are getting after each other.
Go for it.
Wow.
Just wait until I have to talk to the fans in a little bit, but I'm ready for high spots.
I am as well. So let's go ahead and get into it again. Still working on the music, guys. Bear with us. The content is going to be outstanding. We just continues to we continues to try to work on sound. All right, you understand, capiche? All right. So let's go ahead and get right into it, sir. WrestleMania weekend, the biggest weekend of the year, and believe it or not, that is actually the question. Dick Douglas, is WrestleMania indeed the biggest pro wrestling weekend of the year?
Yeah, without a doubt. I would make the case too, if I could see some more numbers on Saudi, that would probably be a bigger weekend, a bigger event in terms of numbers. But in terms of, fanfare, I think, Wrestle Kingdom's great and all these other joint shows and bigger spectacles and AAA's, gimmick there. But it doesn't compare. And that's, in all seriousness, I'll make the argument that maybe a WrestleMania is the biggest selling force behind WWE still. You see it all throughout the year. Very little celebrity or mainstream artists are interacting with the brand. And then when you get closer and closer to it, that's when you see the Logan Pauls, the Johnny Knoxvilles. That's the incentive, the driving force to get these celebrities, these artists that were fans as kids into the program. And it gives everyone a little bit of nostalgia, right? And, I'll make the case too a little bit later about maybe there wasn't as very good of wrestling, maybe it wasn't compared to AEW's, setting of wrestling. It couldn't compare to a Kenny Omega match, but in terms of an actual show, it was the best one in 10 years. And I think it's still proved to be, especially after this weekend. So many good things. Our buddy Larry Nichols, so many good pictures.
Shout out to him. Shout out to Curtis Duncan that was out there.
Yeah,
shout out to Sean Brett and a lot of guys who were out there, man, doing the damn thing.
Yeah,
man.
And then they did some great work, and just to see that, I think that's why you look at a weekend like this out of the entire year, and no matter what a company can do, like an AEW and Impact, or now a Ring of Honor, it's still for some time not going to compete with the magnitude of a Mania, in my opinion, and the opinion of a lot of people that are smart.
Well, you know what? I'm going to kind of twist what you said a little bit, and you would probably accuse me of doing that quite often. But here's my thing. Like, I think if you're a pro wrestling purist and you take the spectacle out of it, I would say no. I think that there are weekends, especially when you talk about the New Japan Cup that we were just going over last week. I think that if you're a wrestling purist and you want to see the best possible in-ring action, WrestleMania is probably not the weekend for that. But if you like the sports entertainment element of it, you like the grandeur, you like the fact that it's a pop culture conversation, they're talking about it on SportsCenter. They're talking, oh, thank you. Guess what just came a knocking? My Wrestle Talk podcast mug. Now the show is complete, whether we have sound effects or not. Point being, for the sheer spectacle and entertainment, I would say yes. No.
I'm just messing.
No, and you wouldn't, because you haven't had a drink out of a Wrestle Talk podcast mug. Okay?
Hey, have you had a Dick Douglas mug? I'll send one to you.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at your mug right now. Let me tell you, I'm not impressed. Why can't I have drops right now? I would have hit the got him.
Continue with your statement. Argue.
I feel like I've been rigged here. Like I was supposed to have sound. Anywho, point being, when you're talking about what's going on inside the squared circle, maybe the biggest weekend of the year. But again, from a sheer spectacle and entertainment standpoint, it's hard to argue that it's not the weekend that has the most eyeballs on the sport versus any other weekend out of the year. So I'll have to say that.
Well, right. And on top of that, Renee, I mean, if you think about it, the whole point of professional wrestling has always been in the entertainment factor. You know, how many times have, you and I think, have talked about this before on the show, you know, so many great matches in New Japan, but at the end of the day, is that going to sell tickets for a global audience? You know, is that going to sell tickets for the 99% of wrestling fans, you know, and that's the question. And WWE proved this weekend after selling 70,000 tickets, and that was a genuine 70,000. That they could have
77,000. Let's just say 78,000 each night is
right.
what my understanding is.
And you know what? And let's be real here. Let's say, you know, they gave 10,000 in comps. Well, that's still 66,000 people that paid a ticket to go watch a show that, you know, maybe only went to see a Stone Cold Steve Austin, to see the potential of a Vince McMahon. And so right now their argument's still valid. And that's just where I'll leave that. It's a two-sided coin, but right now the numbers show, you know, the other way.
Well, you're absolutely right. And it's so funny that you bring up that one man. I think the man that stole the show this weekend, regardless of how bad Vince McMahon took that stunner, which we're absolutely going to be talking about. But, bro, I'm going to bring up a question that we asked last week, and I think it's super relevant. And what's awesome is that you and I kind of work together on this question. So let's go ahead and put it back up on the screen here. Any chance Austin hurts his legacy by doing this angle with Kevin Owens now that we are Tuesday evening quarterbacking Dick Douglas? Would you say he did anything at all to damage his reputation?
No. No. That's, first of all, that's complete. I'm a bachelor. We've known this for quite some time. I've dated some high profile.
Don't get distracted. Answer the question.
Dated some high profile people, but no, it didn't. It actually, I think it amplified it. You know, a lot of people have asked the question, and I've heard it before. If Austin could have gone longer, would his career, would his legacy, would his legend be as big as it was? Because, you know, he was one that obviously didn't get to do everything he wanted to do in the WWE. He got cut short. But to go out there, first of all, what they did was fantastic. I thought the whole setup was great. Why give it away? You know, on a Raw and have it build up when Kevin Owens is more than capable of pissing the crowd off each week just to see if Stone Cold's going to come out. So, you know, it was great build up. And then whenever you have that aspect of, okay, now you're getting a match. I thought, in all seriousness, this is where Vince pulls the screw you. And he does I thought a cinematic match was coming. I'm not going to lie. I thought maybe they worked on something, you know, and he could have.
That would have been a good workaround.
You're right. But to go 14 minutes, you know, the kicks were at first, you know, it didn't seem very,
you know, slow, bro. It's a little slow. Put it to you this way: the plane still flies, but it's got one of those like deals in the front that you got to kind of like get the damn thing going.
It's a little slow, and he was at first, but as the match went on,
now I'm getting distracted by these ridiculous comments.
Smart guy. But as it went on, you saw him get more and more in tune with it. And I think it kind of fired him up to keep wanting to do a little bit more. In all seriousness, you go 14 minutes in a slugfest. You get suplexed on legitimate concrete, not the foam padding that still hurts, but legitimate concrete. Then you go and you suplex the guy twice on the stage.
Yeah, they did it up on the stage. I couldn't believe it, bro.
I mean, the guy worked his ass off. And listen, I mean, I hate to say it, but I made the comment that night. Maybe Steve was right a couple years ago when he said it's on the talent, because a guy that's 57 came back. Yeah, it's because it's Steve Austin. But if any other wrestler would have had that match, without a doubt, they would have gotten a very similar response at the end of the match. Not at the beginning when the entrances come and there's fanfare, but at the end, because of how great of a WWE style match it was, how great of a wrestling match it was. And, you know, I think it actually just, it helped him so much to come back at 57 and do it. And, you know, we'll talk about Cody here in a second, but, you know, just that's where I'm at with it. I think it just did nothing but help him.
Well, I absolutely have to agree. And they did way more than I expected them to do. Mm-hmm. Not only did he come out on night one and absolutely impress, but he did it again on night two. And based on what happened with Vince and stuff, some would argue that it was a bad idea. But you know what? I don't give a damn, bro. And I don't think he would have got any bigger of a pop if Vince McMahon would have taken the stunner perfectly. And it's Vince. It's his reputation to take the stunner worse than anybody. What I thought was hilarious was the fact that you got like one of the best stunner sells ever
in Austin Theory,
by Austin Theory, and then subsequently followed by a terrible stunner. And then right in the middle, Pat McAfee did a pretty darn good job.
And let me piggyback off of that and just ask you a quick question. Pat McAfee's a guy that has a lot of prowess outside of WWE. He's bigger than a lot of those guys in WWE mainstream with this podcast. Does Vince kind of get a little bit of a hitch here? Do we try something else with Pat later on in a couple of months? Was it the Austin effect that made it such a huge pop and a huge reaction? What was it, And so that's going to be interesting too.
Indeed, indeed.
And on top of it, Vince could have gotten his leg broken. I hope not. But he could have snapped his leg and all this stuff, and it would have still looked great. He could have gone out there. He punted a football into a guy's chest, and an entire stadium went nuts.
It absolutely did.
It's Vince. He's 76. Grandpa's on steroids. He's going out there. He's having a good time for a couple of minutes. The best part of Vince, though, was watching him look up after Austin Theory's music hit and watching him blow the damn load for Austin. That was the best part of it.
Yeah, that facial expression was absolutely incredible. And you know what? The following night, there was another facial expression that really caught my attention, not to overshadow what he did on WrestleMania Night 1, but bro, Cody freaking Rhodes, when Seth Rollins came out after that passionate speech, we got to hit on it. I thought it was probably the most significant moment moving forward in WWE. Obviously, Roman winning the championship, I think that was kind of written on the wall. The tag stuff didn't really do all that much for me, even though they had a tremendous amount of matches. I mean, let's be honest. The story was Cody coming from AEW less than 45 days ago. Now in WWE, the question for you, Dick Douglas, as well as the members of the Wrestle Talk family, is simple. Did it meet your expectations? What do you say?
Yeah, I think so. It was one of those where, again, it's a pro and con, right? I think the dirt sheets do a big disservice, but whenever you have some dirt sheets reporting, oh, he's coming, oh, no, he's not, oh, he's going this way and this way, it kind of created a little bit of a buzz around it in Aurora. So, a lot of people assumed, he's going to be the one that's going in, especially when there was no opponent by, the last Raw before Mania. But whenever he came out, he had it. And, maybe his argument was very valid because a lot of the time, I'm not saying this is the truth because I honestly don't know. But, you see the dirt sheets of, he felt maybe he was getting a little misused. And
come on. I mean, the Dan Lambert promos on freaking his wife on Brandy that felt real shoot. You don't think that played a part in it? I would say that it does, man. I mean, I know it was character stuff, but they were attacking her character, and a lot of it had nothing to do with her in-ring wrestling ability, which has already been under question for a long time.
Yeah, but she's still there, right? And I think it went back to a lot more of that was going on backstage, and I don't know. Like I said, I have to be careful with that because I don't want people making assumptions, but I honestly don't. And whenever you have that, it's one of those things where you come out and this entire arena blows between him and Austin. I couldn't tell a difference in loudness, and that's scary. That's the truth of it. Austin was a lot, it's a pop. He has one of the biggest, but Cody, when he comes out and people know going into it, it's him. Yeah. And it does exceed expectation. And I think that it's going to be very quickly that you see him at SummerSlam taking a title home.
Yeah, dude, you know what? And the fact that he came in immediately after not speaking for 40 days and then told that story, tied it back to the family. I mean, it just really goes a long way, I think, in starting to right the ship about WWE's inability to tell a long-term story. I think more credit goes here to Cody than it does to the WWE because he's been building this all the way back to him being like the handsome Cody Rhodes or whatever. And there's just like this linear line that has followed him through his time in New Japan, Ring of Honor, obviously AEW, now back to WWE. I think it's a beautiful, almost poetic type story that Cody Rhodes is putting together. And then the whole thing with his dad never winning the big one, baby, and getting that opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, dude, it's
that's what I'm getting at here. It's a lot. There's a lot of wrestling families, right? The DiBiase's, Ortons, you name it. There's tons. but the Rhodes have done such a good job of keeping their lineage intact and keeping their story intact to where it's staying, it's on the same course as it was, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And they keep their, their reputation going stronger than ever because of the fact that they remember everything. They're so good about keeping tabs on things and going back a couple of years, and they keep the fans invested because of it and make connections to the real world. And that's what I wish a lot more wrestling families would do and create a dynasty type of system, because there's multiple families that could be in the same category,
Absolutely agree.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely agree.
very rarely
That's why the beginning of the song, that like there's more than one, wrestling has more than one royal family. That's such a significant thing for me because it ain't just the McMahons.
No.
Okay, we know, Arn Anderson's got a legacy going now. The Ordens have their own legacy going. The Freebirds and the Von Erichs and all. I mean, like, there is more than one royal family, but I mean, let's just be honest. At the end of the day, the McMahons are the McMahons for a reason. You heard Roman, right? You heard Roman. There's a reason I've been at the top of the card the last 365 where we eclipsed our first $1 billion year. I mean, that the TV deals may have something to do with that, Roman, but his point was not lost on any of us. Right. And I think that's something significant. So shout out to Cody. I'm glad that he's given the opportunity. And, you know how they say, Richard, about like that man strength, like you get to a certain point, just from the years of work and just living, you become like, you get this man strength about you. I think Cody found his man strength externally and internally. I think he really has found himself confident enough to go out there and grab a mic and lead off a Monday Night Raw. Actually, as a matter of fact, the biggest Monday Night Raw of the year, typically based on audience. Big deal, right? A lot of growth. And we've been following it from the beginning. It's a beautiful thing.
I love this comment, though. This comment just came in. Guys, keep commenting. We're getting a lot so far, Renee. I mean, we're doing a pretty damn good job. A lot of
this one. Yeah, this is a good one right here. Yeah, no, that one right there, right?
No, oh yeah, no, that was disgusting. A lot of AEW cellar dwellers are cultist spaz virgins. I don't take sides because I enjoy all wrestling. I don't know. That's very that's great. I mean, that's a different take, Renee. And I think maybe could you make the argument for this?
Listen, there are some cellar dwellers, but wrestling fans come in all shape, forms, and sizes, including 4X. And I got to take this moment right here real quick to give a Mondo mega super duper shout out to our boys, the Lumberjacks. I want to go ahead and show this thing off to you guys fully. Okay, so here it is, Lumberjacks for life. Shout out to our guys, the Lumberjacks, long-term loyal members of the Wrestle Talk family, wrestling out in Southern Illinois. These guys have done a tremendous job of supporting us as, the Wrestle Talk podcast, not only as guests, but also like on the outside. These guys sent us some jams, some t-shirts, or whatever. So if you guys get an opportunity, make sure you guys hit up our boys, the Lumberjacks. They're just solid freaking dudes who love professional wrestling, who respect the sport, and who I think appreciate what we do, because I think that the podcasting world, or I should say the media aspect of the professional wrestling world, sometimes gets a bad rap. We're always reporting on rumors. We're always, being disrespectful towards wrestlers when we can never do it inside the ring, and blah, 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 blah. And I've never been a wrestler, so maybe some of those comments are warranted. But my point is, we've always tried to treat and look at wrestling with respect. The talent, the ring announcers, the commentators, the referees, everybody in between. And it's nice to be recognized by a successful and credible and old school, true blue pro wrestling tag team like the Lumberjacks. So I just want to make sure that I got that off, because, generosity goes a long way, and we're obviously extremely thankful. So shout out to our boys, the Lumberjacks.
And on top of that, on top of that too, Renee.
Yeah.
So many times, a lot of podcasts, especially in the wrestling scene, they don't really do a lot to support the wrestling. The actual independent workers that are really using this to try to get more bookings and try to do things. And when you do things like that, you get supported by some, by great talent. It goes a long way, and I think that's why we keep growing. and we keep growing in stride, it's because of the community around us and the atmosphere that we give off, because it's about building the local scenes and it's about getting their name, getting to know.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for saying that. Well, you know what? As the logo switches sides, you know what that means. We are a few minutes late. So I apologize. I just thought we were having a really intriguing conversation.
Oh, no. Yeah, totally.
I thought it was awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, our first featured guest of the evening. We had some pretty sweet music lined up for him, but apparently when you're connecting your new computer to your mixer, you got to download drivers. Drivers? What do I need drivers for? It's a mixer. Why do I need a driver? It doesn't even have wheels. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me. Somebody who's a little bit more tech savvy, like Jason Mortis, maybe can explain this to me.
Sorry, I was going to send you one of my drivers.
What?
I was going to send you one of my drivers until you told me it's free.
It ain't that kind of driver, you buffoon. It's a computer driver. And you know what? Never mind. Without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show for the first time. Maybe in a long time, maybe the first time ever. I'm not even sure, bro. My memory, my memory, I got dropped as a child. That's what it is. That's what it is. The one and only, a man who used to do his damn thing in the ring. Now he's all over the damn place, all over your Twitter feeds and your Twitch feeds. Also doing a little administrating for a WWE Hall of Famer. And the toughest job of them all, in my opinion, the general manager for Premier Independent Wrestling here in the great state of Kansas. Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Mortis.
What's up, guys?
How are we doing?
What's up, Dick? What's up, Renee?
What's up, you dick?
Renee, that was disrespectful. The way Jason said it was appropriate, and
I was just.
I apologize. I'm sorry.
Don't apologize
to him.
Oh, okay.
This is America.
I was going to say, Mr. Douglas.
This is America. We don't apologize. Yeah, you know what, my man? My mom. It was one of my uncles. He was the misbehaved uncle. He said, Renee Jr., it's better to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission.
Yep.
So we just go ahead and do what the hell we want to do. That's how simple it is. Well, Jason, welcome to the show. I said that right? That's Premier Independent Wrestling.
Premier Independent Wrestling. Yep.
Right now.
You said that right.
Okay. That's a bold statement to call yourself Premier coming out of the gate. Let's start with the present and work backwards. What makes PIW? I saw your card, so I already know the answer to this. It's kind of a trick question. What makes this new promotion Premier? Go.
So first, I want to tell you that the investors of Premier, they came to me and they said, "Hey, we got the show starting. It's going to be here and everything, and we want you to help run it. We want you to help be the general manager. We want you to help book it and everything." So that's exactly why I asked them too. I was like, all right, if you're going to call yourself Premier, what's going to make it Premier? And we want Premier Independent Wrestling to kind of be the startup or the stepping stone to that next level, for the guys who want to go to like the NWA, the MLW, stuff like that. We want to be the stepping stone up to there. So we want the premier local wrestlers, the premier regional wrestlers, the ones who have not had that chance to step up and show the PIW fans and everybody that they deserve to have a chance at those bigger promotions.
Well, okay. Well, that's a lofty goal. You want to give the guys an opportunity to work somewhere so they can kind of perfect their craft and eventually move up the ladder. But before they can do that, they've got to have success at PIW.
Well, exactly.
So, well, there you go. So what does that look like? Because in some promotions, it's just about having badass matches. If you have badass matches, who gives a shit about titles? It is what it is. And then some promotions are all about the championship and being able to kind of carry that championship and show your promoter, hey, I'm going to take this thing to Disney World. I'm taking it to work. I'm taking it to the porta potty. So what would you say that mission statement should be for the gentleman that you're in charge of on this roster?
Yeah. So basically, we're just starting out, so we don't have any titles right now. But our big thing is we had a lot of wrestlers that hit us up, say, hey, we want to be on your show. We want to do this and everything. We're all, like you said, we're all about the opportunity, and we want to give everybody a chance to show what they're made of. So these first couple shows, we're basically gauging talent ourselves. I mean, a lot of these guys that are on the show here, I've known from the past and everything. Some I'm just now meeting.
Oh, we're going to talk about the past. You be sure about that. We are going to get into the old school a little bit.
but yeah, that's the thing. We want to gauge the talent, and we're going to gauge them on everything, and see. We just want to see how they do too, because I mean, I've been.
Well, you should. You got to make sure your investment is successful. And that's the name of the game, isn't it? After all.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. As a guy who is obviously a massive fan, but also involved in the business, I know how hard it is to set yourself apart. There's a lot of talented guys nowadays. Guys are coming in better shape, more knowledgeable. The work ethic, and maybe it's because I'm a little old school. Maybe that's where, you know what I'm saying, and the communication. But I can tell you what, man, it's going to take.
Old school should be highlighted, Renee. I just want to throw that out there. Get back to your question.
Oh my goodness. Well, no. I was kind of commenting on his statement if you were paying attention. Okay. But I do know that I have another question that I want to ask you before I throw it over to my partner, Dick Douglas. And that's this. So the owner, okay, and I am a part of the media, so I have to ask this question. You can answer it however you please. Why has the owner of PIW, Premier Independent Wrestling, decided to stay in the background? Because we all know that a lot of guys, I'm not naming any names, like to start promotions so that they can put themselves at the top of the card, so that they, of course not. That never happens. So that they could perpetually be the champion, to get themselves over. They have a carte blanche to do whatever they want with the booking, and predominantly it starts with them and then works its way down. Why has the owner decided to keep himself quiet and put you in charge? I'm curious. He had to have told you that.
They just want to. They want to be the investors of it, and I am in charge of the booking. So I'm not wrestling on the card. So, I tell the wrestlers, where they're going to be on the card and everything. So the investors really actually don't have much say in it. They are, they're relying on me to put a card together like this.
So it's a fine.
So I really like this concept. Right? I think it's great.
Well,
they said they see it as an investment opportunity. So somewhere they see it as hopefully in the future being profitable. But how we know, as especially local promotions, it's really hard to be profitable. But we're gonna do everything we can. So
how's that dynamic work out? Do you think with the guys in the back? Do you think because you've been a part of many promotions and got to see different structures of management. Do you think this is a little bit less stressful for a locker room this way?
I sure hope so.
Okay.
Because we like the people who we have on this card, and some of the people that I reached out to, I think are very, and that's a really good question too, because the locker room is a big part of wrestling that a lot of fans don't see. And I think the talent that we have on this card are going to be great in the locker rom too. So we want to have a really good positive morale in the backstage, because when everybody's having good matches, having a good time, and there's no BS going on,
right?
The whole show just flourishes.
Absolutely. Let's get Sonny's question addressed here real quick, Renee. If that's cool.
Yeah, go ahead.
If this is from Sonny, one of our other hosts. He's nicer to Renee, absolutely just a jerk off to me.
Because he shows up for work every week.
If you could change,
how about that?
If you could change anything about professional wrestling, what would it be?
That's a good question. If I could change anything about pro wrestling, what would it be? I would have to say so, and I think I've heard other people say this before, because ever since I'm not blaming 100% on social media, but really ever since social media exploded in the last 10, 11, 12 years or something.
Right. 2009, 2000.
With more, wrestlers and celebrities and stuff getting on like Twitter and all this other stuff, and people have been seeing a little bit more what goes on behind the scenes. The old theory, the saying now is kayfabe is dead and everything. I don't 100% believe that, but it's definitely it's definitely hurt a little bit because people do open up saying, hey, this is what's going on. I mean, just look at the Undertaker's Hall of Fame speech. He used his real name, and he's in all, and they're telling these stories and everything that's happened, and even now, even with like local and regional indie guys, they're on Twitter, they're trying to promote themselves, and it's when you're trying to sell stuff, and saying, hey, buy my merch and everything, and especially if you're a heel, because back in the day it used to be a lot different, where the heels wouldn't be out there selling their merch, the faces would, and the faces would give like the heels a little bit of cut, because the heels help put them over. Right. These days it's like you got to put yourself over somehow, and a lot of that is because of social media, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And let me kind of just piggyback off of that too, because you just completely agree with how things are different with heels, selling merch and things like that. A lot of people are under the impression that maybe, the whole babyface heel thing, it's starting to get a little convoluted on the indie scene with guys that, try to be the Steve Austin. You always see a couple of is that do you think that's a growing problem in the independent scene? And just to start off,
I don't think it's a problem, but it's just different. It's just different now. People are always going to want to see the good guy versus the bad guy.
Right.
That's always going to happen. But you do want to see changes and everything too, or different types of matches and stuff. So there's still going to be like the guys who are kind of walking that thin line of good guy, bad guy, and everything. And sometimes people just want to see two tough guys beat the crap out of each other.
That's true too.
So yeah, I mean, it's just different. I don't want to say it's like worse or better or anything. It's just different than what it was. I mean, if you look, 20 years ago, back in the Attitude Era, that was different than the way wrestling was 20 years before. So,
and we do have another question. I apologize there, Richard. So Aaron Wallace, All Bro on YouTube, wants to know, and it was going to lead kind of to my next series of questions. Your start in professional wrestling. Obviously, you dabble in a lot of things now. I have a little bit of a background knowledge of what kind of what you did once you got into the business. But you and I have never talked about what actually prompted you to get into the business and why you chose where you chose. Why don't you tell us that?
So get this. I don't know if I've told you this before, Renee.
I don't think so.
But I mean, where I started. Okay, let me start at the very beginning here. I actually first tried to get into pro wrestling back in the year 2000.
You old, bruh.
22 years ago. Dude, I just hit 40. I just hit 40 last year.
Oh, snap.
No, I just hit 40 last year.
All right. Well, just in case anyone's wondering, when we do go to break and the overlay comes up and the music hits, I am actually physically changing Dick Douglas's diaper. So he's the young one here. Depends, fam. Depends.
Oh, no. Hey, we're trying to interview a guest here, Renee. You're completely taking away from the content of the show right now with that convoluted and, quite frankly, pessimistic jab. That's detrimental to our
shit's funny, though, bro. That shit's funny.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Sorry, Jason. I apologize.
No, that's good. So yeah, I actually back in the year 2000, I found this pro wrestling school. I'll use that in quotes there in Las Vegas. And I found this through, I used to do the old tape tradings, the VHS tapes back in the day and everything. And this guy that I was talking to a lot and trading tapes with, I told him about how I wanted to be pro wrestler. I had just turned 19 and everything. And, I was a young, pretty athletic young guy and everything. And he was like, well, I know this guy in Las Vegas and everything. He's just starting a school and everything. And why don't you hit him up? So I sent him an email, and I found the email for John Tenta down in Orlando, Florida, who I found out he was starting up a school at that time.
That's a good lead right there, buddy.
So I sent him an email as well. Well, the guy in Las Vegas, and I'm not gonna name names because it did not turn out well.
You're a true gentleman.
But the guy in Las Vegas, he replied back first within a couple days saying, hey, yeah, we got this new school coming up. We got about 12 students, and we would love to have you there. Gave me the price and everything. I was like, okay, great. And I committed to him. it was like a month later, like I was gonna fly out there and just change my entire life for wrestling. 2 weeks after I sent that email, John Tenta emails me saying, "Yeah, we got this, this, and this." I was like, "Oh, I already made my commitment here." And I was like, "Do you know anything about this guy?" He's like, "Yeah, I actually toured with him in England. He's kind of green and everything." And so the guy in Las Vegas, he was kind of a younger, greener guy and everything. And to this day, I still wish I told that guy no and went to John Tenta school because I knew who Tenta was. I knew his work and everything. And but he was such a nice guy over emails and everything, and he understood. So I flew to Las Vegas. It lasted a week. All right. The guy lied out his ass. He didn't have the school there. He said he had like the wrestling ring and everything, and it was in this one place. And it was like the day after I got there, he handed me a newspaper and he said, "Let's look and see where we can put the wrestling ring." I'm like, "Wait on, first red flag. What are you talking about?" And I'm staying with him too.
Whoa,
Okay?
whoa.
I'm staying with him.
That's an important detail.
So he brought you in for the startup?
Yes. So okay. Remember, I'm a naive 19-year-old with a dream. I was stupid. Okay. And I flew across halfway across the country to go to this place. And so I didn't know anybody except him, and he introduced me to his, he said it was like his promoter or whatever. It was just some weird guy and everything. And I remember going to the grocery store and he was like, "Let's see if you can take a chop." And he's a big guy too, and he chops me like right in the grocery line. He was like, "You can take a chop pretty good." I was like, "Okay." And yeah.
By the way, shout out to, sorry for interrupting, Jason. Shout out to Big Country Matt Stockdale, still supporting Big Country with my Big Country Matt Stockdale bracelet right there. So shout out to my guy. Go to training, fool. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
So it was just kind of weird. And the other red flag that I got, and there were other things, but I won't. I could talk about this like for an hour. I'm not going to do that. But
bury him. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
So I was looking for a job in the area. I had no car, so the trainer said that there was a GNC down the street that was hiring. So I walked there. It was about a mile away. It wasn't a big deal. So I walked there, and I got hired. And I worked there for 4 hours before they fired me. And they're like, "Well, they gave me cash." And they're like, "Well, we end up deciding not to keeping you because you didn't have a whole lot of knowledge in supplements." And they knew that before. They said they were going to train me and all this other stuff, So I came back home and told the guy, and he was like, "Well, the reason why I got fired because I put him as a reference on my application." And yeah, he's like, "Why'd you put me as your reference?" It's like, "You're the only person I know." He goes, "I used to work there. I got fired for stealing."
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. So, and it was like 6 days goes by. I haven't trained a single day. And I'm like, "Come on, I'm here for training. Can we do something?" So like he's like, "All right." So he takes me to the gym one day and has me run the treadmill and all this crap. It's like, I could have done this at home. What's going on? And he's just trying to get this money out of me.
Scam, fam.
Yeah, it was a scam, and he was just trying to scam me as long as he could. And I was like, I told him I wanted to get my money back, and I never forget what he told me. He goes, "Do you think you deserve that money back?" And I was like, you haven't trained me, you haven't done this, you haven't done anything on your promises. And we came real close to going at blows and everything.
Well, I admire you for being as patient as you were, bro.
Right.
Somebody should get the shit slapped out of him for that. At least a slap.
Yeah, and I was like, whatever, just take me to the airport tomorrow. I had just enough money to get a plane ticket back to Kansas City. So, and the guy at the time, he was very green. He was a young guy. He's like 23, and he's a legit wrestler. He's wrestled around in some companies that some well-known companies at that time, and so.
Right. Well,
but okay, let's fast forward to the positive thing. So it took me 14 years. I know. I told you that was a long story.
That's how I do it. As soon as I was like, "Yo,
yes." So yeah,
you deserved it.
So you think it would end there? I'm sorry for dragging on about that. So you think
no, good story. Go ahead.
So it took me 14 years to be like, I got one more chance at this. I don't want to totally give it up. I was in my younger 30s, and and I found it was like I was about to give up, and I saw the Extreme Wrestling Center sponsorship or like sponsored post on Facebook, and I found out it was like 5 minutes from my house. I was like, you gotta be kidding.
5 minutes?
5 minutes from my house.
Wow.
So yeah, so I went there and I did the tryout and everything and passed it, and that was 7.5 years ago.
Incredible.
So that's where it was, right when XWC was starting.
All right, and I have a follow-up question. Bless you, Dick Douglas up there. You all right, buddy? Hang in there.
Sorry. Hey, I'm a trooper. I'm pulling in here.
Yes, you are, man. A new and improved Richard Douglas. Daddy wants some more of that.
That's gross. I actually feel assaulted right now.
Oh, and one more thing, Renee. You said this is my first time ever on the show.
No.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Wait. If you go back and watch the tape, I was like pondering, and I was like, "Is this like?" And listen, so I know you've been on before, but when you came on last time, I didn't know how to play this. So listen, you know what?
Gotcha. I got what you're saying.
I'm pulling the scab.
Gamma
last time
is
you came
dead.
on, you were Ray Gamma.
Gamma
so
is
I'm
dead.
like, how do we play this thing? Da da da. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
I wasn't sure, bro. I wanted to be respectful, but I was like, somebody who you know how the internet is. Somebody's got too much time on their hands is going to go back and go, wait a second, this isn't a new guest. We've had him on before. So I'm like, let me just go ahead and hedge my bet a little bit for the record. For the record. All right. So question again from the one and only Sonny Money. A bit off topic, not really, but maybe. What will make PIW different from other wrestling promotions? I asked a similar question earlier on, but just in case, why don't you go ahead and drop it on us?
Yeah, so like I said before, we're gonna try to find the best talent to try to help boost them to the next level. You know, we know we're not WWE, we're not AEW. We know that. We don't want to be, but we want to help that talent to get to the next level. We're gonna do more than just saying, hey, we got this wrestling show, these guys are gonna wrestle on here. We're gonna help these talent like anything we can behind the scenes to make that next step. I think that's going to be a big thing for us. Because I mean, I'm sure there's other wrestling organizations that do that as well, but a lot of them, they do just purely their show. But we want to do what we can to look out for the best for the talent. As well as just try to make the best show we can for the fans.
Well, I love to hear that because ultimately, I think if you put the fans first, kind of like Field of Dreams, right? If you build it, he will come. That sort of thing. Like you have to focus on the quality of the product. And, I know myself and RD over there have had this conversation behind the scenes usually with a lawyer and some security guards between us. Like we need to make sure that we're ready for the show. I try to be over prepared. Dick Douglas is learning, in my opinion, to be ready for big time interviews like this one, like the one we're having here tonight.
I've always been ready.
I mean, the thing here's the thing, buddy. Here's the thing. I'm sitting there waiting for you. Jason Mortis is in the green room. Hardcore Hoss is in the green room. Skywalker's in the green room. Our catering staff is in the green room. Dick Douglas, fashionably late, showing up 1 minute before the live broadcast. And there's only really one way to sum this up. Effing bullcrap. That's what it is, buddy. I'm sorry to tell you. I know you don't want to hear it, but it's the damn truth. Sorry.
It's okay. I'll remember it for quite some time, and I don't want to take away from the interview, but I think that's quite frankly bullshit.
That's what. Hey, hold on a second. I just said that. How are you going to say the same thing I said?
That's because my version of it's the truth.
Oh my gosh. Such a biter. Anyway, it's not about you and me. It's about Jason Mortis. So, okay. I got a question in the direct messages. Guys, you can always post them on the live thread, but whatever. The question is about your affiliation. As a matter of fact, the question was, what is Jason wearing? What is the shirt? What does it mean? So let's go ahead and ask that question, bro. You're representing, what I'm saying, the Mad Squad, Mad Mob Squad. Talk to us
Medusa's
about
Mad Mod Squad. Yep, I'm actually on the back of the shirt too.
What?
Oh hell yeah!
How do I get on a t-shirt, bro?
Somewhere back there. I'm back there.
Okay.
So my affiliation with WWE Hall of Famer Medusa.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny how this happened. Of course, during the pandemic and everything, there's no wrestling shows going on. There's nothing going on, especially in 2020. Yeah, so I found out through my buddy Alex Kool-Aid Ansel, who's a comedian. He's the guy that helped me work the Jake the Snake show and the Raven show. When I was helping them book the comedy shows and everything.
Right.
He was starting to work with Medusa, and so I was just talking to him. He was like, "Yeah, she's starting up on Twitch and everything, and this and that." I was like, "Oh, great. Well, I'm gonna go and support my buddy Alex and just go check out her Twitch channel." And I was basically one of the first people that kind of jumped in on there, and talking with some other people in chat, talking with Medusa and in there, and it was just it's kind of funny because I just came in as a fan. I was just hanging out and everything, and I became a regular in the channel, and she had one mod at the time. His name is Huck. And it was like a couple months later, he hits me up, and we talked a little bit behind the scenes. He knew my background, he knew where I came from and everything. And he was like, we're looking for more mods. We got this, and this going on, and this set. We would really like you to be a mod. And I knew the thing is with Medusa, it's like it's more than just being a mod. It's more than just going to her Twitch channel and saying, hey, make sure nobody's causing problems and stuff. She has this whole setup, and at first I turned it down because I just thought, I don't have time for it. I'm busy. I just like coming and hanging out. But when I talked to Huck and everything, he kind of talked me into it. He was like, you know what, I really do want to be a part of it.
Big opopportunity, bro.
Yeah, it is a big opportunity.
Thank your homie.
I do, and we have a great team over there. With Huck and the other people who on the Mad Mod Squad, Digi, Winter, and Hype. I gotta give them a shout out, of course. We have a great team over there. Yeah, I'm really really glad that I did join it because they've all kind of turned into like a second family. Them and Medusa and everything. And it's been a lot of fun and a little bit nerve-wracking working for Medusa on the channel and everything.
Whoa. Okay, so I got to ask you about that because I got a couple of glimpses, and Medusa's not the type to like pussyfoot around stuff.
No, absolutely not.
Have you had any like borderline viral moments as a mod? Is there anybody? Because listen, we're just little old Wrestle Talk podcast, and we get trolls. So I can only imagine Medusa. Like, you had anything you could share with us, bro? Like, you got to have at least one for us.
Are you talking about like stuff that happens in the chat?
On the that, thing? Like silly people saying off the wall.
Oh, dude. So
you know what I mean?
If you remember, I think this is like last year. There was for like a month for some reason Twitch was starting to get all these hate raids.
Yep.
For no reason. People just I don't know.
I was talking about earlier, people that have way too much time. These are the people. These are the people I'm talking about.
No, exactly. So me, Digi, Winter, Hype, and Huck were all like actually on her. We were. I can't remember what we were talking about. We were actually on her channel talking about something, and all of a sudden these people just came in and just started talking about stuff, and we're like, hold on a second. We got quiet for like 3 minutes, and we're like, do, and we just. Just took everybody out where, yeah. So, and Medusa was like, that's why I got these mods here.
Hell yes.
And I'll tell you, you have to see Medusa's Twitch stream. She's very entertaining. It's twitch.tv/Medusa_rocks. She streams every Monday, Wednesday, Friday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern. So that'll be 8 p.m. Central Time. And, I'll tell you, what you see on that stream is what you get. That's her. She's not putting on a gimmick or anything. That's her.
Well, speaking of gimmicks, we got a comment right here. It says, little known fact, not only was she a professional wrestler, also a monster truck driver.
Yeah.
She was in Monster. Is that a real thing?
Yeah, she's a
Shout out to Aaron Wallace. That was good, man.
She's a 2-time monster truck champion. Yeah, over at Monster Jam.
Dude. Yep. Like these more like some people
So
live like all
I
four
actually,
of my
hold on a
dreams.
second.
That's
I
bad
got
shit,
shows
dude.
over. I actually got her monster truck right there.
What?
Yeah,
Dude, how did I not
and there
know
we go.
that?
There we go. I had when I first met her over at the NWA Empower, she signed it, so I had to show that.
Dick Douglas, I got to get your thoughts on this. Did you know that Medusa was also a Monster Jam champion? I did not know this.
I don't. It doesn't surprise me. Medusa's a badass, you know. I mean,
straight up legend, fam.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she is the first woman champion, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So wow, I mean, she's a trailblazer. I mean, it's not like I said.
Forget about what she did in the ring. You talk about her promos, bro. That alone makes her a legend. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, without a doubt.
I'm not just saying this because she's my boss on Twitch, but I legit think that she's one of the smartest minds in wrestling. She's got her wrestling IQ is just so high.
Yeah, you don't get that ring for nothing.
No, I honestly think that her and Raven are two of the smartest minds in wrestling.
Oh shit, dog! I believe that. Love to have Raven on sometime. Maybe Jason. We'll talk about that off the air. Okay. So I want to get into something else because I know we're jumping around, bro. And if we had more time, we could probably get into it all. But truthfully, this card, okay, this PIW card, we would do ourselves a disservice if we didn't go through it at least briefly. Talk to me about some of the talent, where you acquired this talent. I know you were very, very selective in the people that you decided to bring in. There's a lot of talent throughout the Midwest, but you were very, very picky. Talk to us about some of the veterans on your card and talk to us about some of the, let's say, the young lions on your card that people should be looking forward to. What do you got for us?
All right. Well, let's start with the veterans then. Let's start with the veterans. Well, first off, so we got Big Dog and Kid USA. Kid USA is coming back to wrestling after a long absence. You know, he hit us up and he said he really wanted to work for us. He really wanted to be on this card. So I couldn't turn him down. I was like, yeah, we'll find a spot for you. And he's teaming up with his old partner, the Big Dog, who is no stranger to Midwest wrestling and Kansas wrestling and everything. He's been everywhere. He's done everything. So we have them going against who. So Professor Crapel started kind of, and you all know Professor Crapel, Renee, I can't hear you, Renee. You're muted.
Unmute, Renee.
There you go. You're both
sorry
muted.
About that. Sorry about that. No, of course we know Professor Crapel, man. Yeah. Shout out to Colin. That's my guy. I've missed seeing him in the local professional wrestling scene. It's been a little while since he's appeared. So are you bringing him in?
So he hit me up. We have a history. We have a pretty long history. We've had some highs, we've had some lows. But I mean, Professor Crapel is still a professional. So he said
a great mind himself. By the way,
he is a very good mind in pro wrestling. I'll give him. He may be kind of a jackass sometimes, but he's a very good mind in professional wrestling. And he said he's got a couple guys that he wants to bring in to take on Big Dog and Kid USA. So he's bringing in.
So Crapel's coming in with clients now?
He's coming in with clients. Yeah.
This is interesting.
So he's bringing in Hassan Payne, who is a veteran of 30 years of wrestling. He's going to be teaming up with a young guy by the name of Daniel Maxson. So who comes out of the XWC.
I like how you're blending the old school talent and the young talent. I like that.
Mixing it a little bit in there. Yep. So I'm very interested to see how that pays out. See what happens there, because I don't know. Professor Crapel, I've known him for about 7 years, but I still can't figure him out sometimes.
I think you're probably better off trying not to dig deep into that guy's mind.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. You're probably better off for your own sanity.
Yeah, you might be right.
Yeah, and I've never seen a guy in a wheelchair take as many bumps as I've seen Professor Crapel take.
He's not afraid of getting in there and getting dirty
if he needs to. I've seen people sit on him. He is freaking fearless.
He's taking suplexes in the ring.
You know what he told me, bro? He's like, "What are they gonna do? Break my legs?" I'm like, what? You're
a fair
sick man.
point.
He's a sick man.
He really has no fear.
You sick bastard, you.
He likes to mess with people too. So,
dude, he's a wild man.
So he's going to be a wild card back there too.
Hell yeah, he is.
So that's the tag match we got. We also have El Diablo versus Shrapnel, two young high flyers who are they're both making waves all over Missouri, Illinois, Kansas, everywhere, and they're both two young guys who are just, I mean, the sky's the limit for both of them.
I agree.
You know,
absolutely.
So I am super excited to bring both of those guys on. And we have Shannon Reed.
The Bully Smasher is back.
Bully Smasher,
the lean and mean rejuvenated.
Right. He's dropped a bit of weight. He's gotten in a bit better shape. As you know, he is a former KCXW champion. So he comes in to take on the self-proclaimed best Bobby West, who demanded he be put on this card. And I don't like people making demands, but I am all about opportunities. I'm all about giving somebody a chance. So we'll see how this goes, you know.
Well, let's hope that doesn't come back to bite you, because I've seen Bobby West upset, and he's not the easiest guy to get through when he's pissed off.
No,
I think he feels underappreciated, and to a certain extent, I absolutely agree.
Yeah, well, you know, that's you know, he may feel underappreciated. Some people may say he might feel entitled.
Oh, hey!
I said some people. I didn't say me. Like I said,
not you. Okay.
No,
you see what he does. See how he tried to turn your words around really fast. You gotta watch him.
I'm just pointing.
You gotta watch him.
I'm just highlighting what I'm hearing. That's all.
No, so we'll see how this goes. We'll see how this goes. All right. Then we got a triple threat match. We got Dr. Ison versus Clay Huna. And the third man that we just signed on to is the current New Breed Wrestling champion, nothing neater, Derek Teeter.
Ooh, so, Derek Teeter. Hey, and that belt's been held by some monsters. Mm-hmm. I believe the Suplex Cyclone Kurt Gannon, the Suplexorcist, has held that championship before. I think some pretty.
It's a really good championship. Now I will say that it is a non-title match. This is not. You know, that stays at New Breed and everything, but
but talk about like making your mark in the Midwest. You beat the NBW champion. Shout out to my boy Scotty, them boys out there. The Midwestern wrestling fans are going to take notice of that, right? That's what you're banking on. Big match, maybe not non-title, but people are going to take notice.
Yeah, and I mean Derek Teeter, he's making a name for himself all over the place. You know, he's I'm so glad we got him on the card. You know, so I'm really looking forward to that one.
The fans will definitely appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. And then we got the Unbound Barbarian Ryan Cole, who, if you remember, is formerly known as Johnny Rocco. He's kind of rediscovered himself. You know, he took some time off during the COVID time and everything, and he hit the gym. And I don't know whether I think he's been like secretly doing some extra training, like in a cave somewhere, you know?
I was about to say hitting the gym is a bit of an understatement. I've been paying attention to Johnny Rocco in the background.
He looks like a beast.
This man has absolutely transformed himself into a beast of a man. And it's funny because we've got Brian Blade joining us here in about 10 minutes, MWA's very own. And I think of a guy that just looks the part and you know, talks the talk, walks the walk. I see a lot of a young Brian Blade in what we're seeing in the transformation of Ryan Cole. Very exciting. I can see that. And it's great that you guys get the opportunity to kind of debut this new and improved, you know, guy formerly known as Johnny Rocco, Ryan Cole. I think it's something that everybody should keep their eyes on.
And he will be taking on Kenny Zombie Jones, who's been all over Kansas wrestling. He's been wrestling 15 years.
Oh, don't tell me that.
He's somebody I've been in the ring with Zombie before, and he's a wild card in the ring.
I had to call a match with this guy. Shout out to Adam Pena, United Underground.
He is a unique personality.
He is out of his mind.
He's a unique personality.
He left the commentary table, came out to Baby Shark with a shark head on, and whooped ass for like 10 minutes, grabbed a beer, and came back and joined me in commentary. I mean, that is Kenny Zombie Jones.
He's a fighter in there. I mean, he's got kind of a lighter demeanor, but when he gets in the ring, he'll tear it up.
Well,
So,
what is the Marksman talking about? Ryan Cole just turned 71. What? That's absolutely out of control. I don't know what you're talking about, but you're the Marksman. I'm not going to argue with the Marksman.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's Brad to argue.
I'm not trying to get chopped, fam. I'm just not. Period. Point blank. What else you got for us, Jason?
Let's see, for the co-main event, we got and I'll tell you, this was kind of a surprise to me. First time ever. We have Tyler Gray versus everybody's buddy, Hollis Giroux. So I
say that sarcastically, I assume, because
I know. Yeah, you and Hollis have a little bit of history, but I think Hollis is misunderstood. I think he's a good guy.
You think Hollis is misunderstood?
Hollis has been my butt. Now I'll bite. When I was Red Gamma, I don't know what I was thinking sometimes when I was Red Gamma, but I still think Hollis is a very misunderstood performer, and I think he's a nicer guy than what a lot of people
than what he lets off.
Yeah, but you can't deny his ability in that ring.
No, never. So, yeah,
and Tyler, he's a little nuts. So we'll see what's going to go on there.
A little nuts.
He's a little nuts.
Yeah. This dude's out of his mind. He comes out with a chair. He's got face paint. He laughs maniacally, but you want to say he's a little.
Just a little nuts, just a little bit.
What about the main, man? That's what we all been waiting for. What's the main, baby?
We waited so long. If you kept track of what we were doing on Facebook and everything, we want to announce the matches like a couple weeks before the show and everything. But this last, I don't even know if to call it a match yet because it's not officially booked. But we waited so long because Smash Mouth McCollum, who likes to run his mouth, hence his name,
That's what Scotsmen do. They talk trash and they drink pints, man. That's what they do.
Well, he heard that Deke Hansen was going to be on the show, and he's returned to wrestling.
You talking about Thick
Deke Hansen, yep.
Yeah.
And he's from Perry, Kansas. He actually went to the Perry Lecompton High School where the show was taking place, and Smash Mouth heard he was going to be there, so he called him out. Now
Smash Mouth out of his damn mind.
I don't know, but apparently Smash Mouth doesn't want to get in the ring himself right now. So he's I think he hired a big gun in JC Thunder. So
whoa. So wait. So Smash Mouth calls him out, but then hires somebody else to actually have the fight.
You know what? Like I said before, I don't know what Smash Mouth's beef is with Deke Hansen. Maybe he just wants to see somebody really get beaten up. But yeah, that's what he did.
How are you gonna call somebody out and then not even handle it yourself? I don't understand that.
And for weeks I was trying to mediate, kind of negotiate between them and saying, hey, are we gonna make this happen? And I haven't gotten an answer back yet. So Deke did tell me that he's going to be at the show. So he'll let everybody know at the show if he will accept that challenge and take on JC Thunder.
Oh, I'm anxious to hear about it. The results. I personally, unfortunately, will not be attending. It's my granddaughter's first birthday. We can make some noise for that.
Yay.
Yeah, we can make some noise for that.
Happy birthday.
We got some. Hey, exactly. It's going to be a wonderful time. Otherwise, I would be there. If not, I'd be at XWE. I know you guys are absolutely going to kill it. Well, I will only say this, Jason. I've seen you evolve in this business from wrestler to kind of like in limbo due to the injury, and now you've kind of reinvented yourself, and now you've got a position of authority, and I think you've earned that. I know maybe you are not 100% content with everything that you were able to do inside the ring, but I will say that you definitely had some memorable moments. I think that you left a great impression on every single person that ever saw you work. I think you were incredibly underrated and athletic for your size. And I think that if you take that same energy and passion for what you're doing now with the stream or with PIW or anything else or your Twitch or whatever, I think you're going to absolutely knock it out of the park. Dick Douglas, I know you concur. I know we don't agree on much, but Jason's absolutely killing it right now, man. And
Oh, absolutely.
I was excited to be able to get him on the week of the show. You know how busy it is for a general manager the week of the show, and the fact that you made time for us, bro. That itself,
of course, Renee, I'd always make time for you, dude.
Aww, so sweet.
Yeah, I really appreciate those words too. You know, that means a lot to me.
Respect, my guy. Respect. Dick Douglas, final thoughts or questions for Jason Mortis?
You know, week away, right? A week of the show. This coming weekend, right? What's the thought process? How are you feeling going into it mentally? You know, and how are you looking in the next couple of months after the show?
So I'll be honest. I'm a little nervous. I haven't been this nervous in a long time, and I would think that I wouldn't have been that nervous, but I'm excited, and I really think that it's the same for if you're wrestling in ring as you are doing management, production, or whatever. If you're not excited or nervous for a show, then it's time to just call it quits. You know, and I'm very excited and nervous. You know, I'm hoping that we put on the best show. I'm sure we will. You know, we got great talent. We have some great fans that have been contacting us saying we're really looking forward to the show. So I'm really excited. And so the next show, we do have the next show already booked. It will be
that's awesome.
It'll be Saturday, August 20th. So we're gonna have a long period there to kind of reset and assess.
Okay.
You know, see how things go. That will be at the East Lawrence Community Center, so that'll be in Lawrence, Kansas. And then we are planning one more show later this year. We don't have the date pinned down yet, but once we do, we'll tell you guys and everything. And also, you can also catch me on the commentary table over at New Breed Wrestling with Sal Sanchez over there. So
shout out to my guy Sal Sanchez. He was the general manager of Midwest Elite Wrestling when I was doing commentary over there. So shout out Buffet Club for life, baby. That's all I got to say.
Gotta give Sal Sanchez a shout out. Even though he kind of he likes poking me a bit on the commentary table and making fun of my hairdo.
He likes the bad guys, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
but
just like Richard Douglas.
It's not true. Yeah, that's not true. We're a campaign to free wrestling from elitists and lobbyists. I don't think that has to do with anybody being bad.
You talk about elitists, and then you say you're from the city on the hill. Okay.
No, what's what we're trying to create. See what he does? Do you see what he does, Jason? He took a little bit and he spun it in a way that could try to make him look a little bit, but that's fine. Okay. If that's what you're going to do, I don't recommend it, but go for it.
Well, speaking of spinning things, a quick last comment here from the Marksman. True or not true there, Mr. Mortis? Fun fact. Gamma told a bunch of fans to shut up when he was called a blueberry. Why did they call you a blueberry, and did you or did you not tell them to shut up?
I don't remember ever being called a blueberry. I'm sure it happened. Well, because if you remember the singlet that I wore was that blue X-ray skeleton singlet. I know the name that I got called the most was Skeletor.
Skeletor,
so, yeah. But I do remember a couple old ladies yelling at me and everything and flipping me off. So
well, job well done. Good for you, sir. Yeah. I dig that. Dick Douglas, we're nearing the end of our time during this conversation, bro. Did you have any other thoughts or questions for Jason Mortis?
Just my only thought is good luck this weekend, and I hope you guys have a productive summer and keep kicking ass and light the world on fire in Kansas this weekend.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Well, it's nothing from but respect on our end. Jason Mortis, thank you for being here, sir. Give yourself a round of applause.
Thank you.
Well served. Another great appearance, or maybe a great initial appearance, depending on who you talk to, by Jason Mortis, man. Thank you very, very much. One more time, bro. Drop the information on the show this upcoming weekend. Where can they buy tickets? Where's the show going down? What time does it start? Go ahead. Do your thing.
Saturday, April 9th at the Perry LeCompton High School in Perry, Kansas. You can buy tickets at piwrestling.com or go to piwrestling.simpletix.com. You'll find the tickets right there. The doors, the VIP doors open at 5:30. General admission and floor seats open at 6:15. The show starts at 7. And it looks like we might be doing a battle royal before the show. So,
Really?
so come in a little bit early, 6:30, 6:40 or something like that.
Some
I'm
VIP
pretty sure
stuff,
we'll
man. You gotta dig that.
We'll have a battle royal there. That'll be fun.
Adding value, bro. Add value for the fan.
And also, if you want to catch me on Twitch, I do stream most of the time Tuesdays and Thursday nights with X. I'm starting my stream a little bit late today because I'm here. But Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sunday nights, you can find me on Twitch at Mortis the Saurus, like Saurus the dinosaur.
I gotta ask this. Okay, so totally off the cuff here. The name. What? You gotta tell me the name because I love the Ray Gamma name.
Yeah.
No, obviously that was in as a wrestler, but now you're the origin. Just quickly here.
So Mortis, I've actually used the name Mortis for like over 20 years in like gaming, online gaming and stuff like that. And I thought so. I had the URL on YouTube, youtube.com/Mortis for like the longest time since like YouTube was a thing. And then I didn't have enough subscribers on there.
Okay.
So when they changed their whole thing or whatever, somebody who had over 1,000 subscribers ended up taking that name from me. So I had to come up with something else. So I was like,
big dog.
So it was basically I just thought Mortis the Saurus because it kind of rhymed. It sounded cool. I like dinosaurs, and it's also a play off words. It's spelled thesaurus. So that's how it stuck. The silly names stick. Like Ray Gamma stuck, and it was a silly name. So Mortisaurus, it stuck, and it's a silly name.
And you know what? It absolutely works. Shout out to you. Much respect.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us here for episode 389 of the Wrestle Talk podcast. Again, man, give yourself a round of applause. Well deserved. Well deserved. Hey.
Thanks guys. Jason. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Dig Douglas, a smashing first hour of the Wrestle Talk podcast, if you ask me, sir.
Very good. Very good. We did a good job and got a lot across. And as the sun goes down on my Tylenol Sinex, we'll re-up it as we keep going, and we're gonna keep fighting through it on a Tuesday.
Have some tequila, bro. Some Cazadores tequila. That's what you need. It'll clear you up. It'll make you a little bit more fun. You won't be so stiff and boring. It'll absolutely change your life.
Send me some. We'll make it work.
I need to send you tequila. I thought you had like a thing with The Rock. Were you bragging about that a couple of weeks ago?
Quite frankly, I'd like to stay with mostly American drinks right now because of the campaign. You know how dangerous that gets when you start drinking, scotch and things. A lot of people get upset over that, and I'm a proud community first person. And the Rock's tequila wasn't the first alcohol; it was Stone Cold's Broken Skull IPA, and that's what I'll be utilizing because of that, because he was the trendsetter in the alcohol game.
Okay, well, there, always braggadocious Dick Douglas, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take a very brief 3-minute break. We'll be back immediately with our second featured guest of the evening, the one and only, the Hall of Famer, MWA's very own Brian Blade. You guys hang out, and in the meantime, we leave you with a little Clear Soul Forces with a song by the name of ACH. That's right. MLW's.
And Renee.
Yes.
Oh, keep going.
No. I have to finish and then the music plays. What do you want?
Well, you got to say after this. We'll be back.
No, I don't have to say
this.
Oh, my God. You know what? Let's go ahead and hit the music, guys. ACH, you know him. He used to be in NXT. He's now in MLW and really just an all-around swell guy. Let's go ahead and hit that music by Clear Soul Forces. We'll catch you guys in about 3 minutes with Brian Blade.
Go ACH, go. 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 Go ACH, go.
Power and speed, I mastered the craft of battle hit. 450 splash, I'm jumping out of the atmosphere. On a voyage to be the best in the world while I'm suplexing y'all. Catching one piece from Luffy, the rest of the
turnbuckles in a flyweight. Been on this road so long that I became a cruiserweight. These exclusive elusives to the point I got the title belt for keeping tracks looping. Crowds keep it moving. We slam dance to it. Using a couple combinations, total domination, precision, technician. You don't want it with this network. Hurting you figure for a look. Arsenal full of skill here. Enemies in my crosshairs over the top.
Cause brother about to splash, dig up or maybe like the game up with my cab, right in submission to the match you about to tab, I was whipping it to suplex, lay a flag. Why you got 'em like that? Ooh. Go ACH, go. 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 Go ACH, go.
Hurricane running these rhymes, you out of time. Tope cone out of my mind, I'm taking flight.
Then I grab my legs and front flip, you finished for the night. Like you clocking out a clock, you round your head, you out of life.
It's time for you to pay the price. The cost is high, but I'll be higher when doing the spot start fraud. Opponent stiff as a law. No flaws on my submission, so pause. You feel the hit and even flow, so now they flock to the bars. Tell them, listen, go.
Go ACH, go. Go ACH, go. Go ACH, go. Go ACH, go. Go ACH, go. Go ACH, go. Go ACH, go. Go ACH, go. Go ACH, go. Go ACH, go. Go ACH, go. Go ACH, go. Go ACH, go. Go ACH, go. Go ACH, go. Go ACH, go. Go ACH, go. Go ACH, go. Go ACH, go. Go ACH, go. Go ACH, go. Go ACH, go. Go ACH, go. Go ACH, go. Go ACH, go. Go ACH, go. Go ACH, go. Go ACH, go. Go ACH, go. Go ACH, go. Go ACH, go. Go ACH, go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 389 of the Wrestle Talk podcast. I am the Night Owl hosting you here tonight, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed the first hour of the show. Thank you so very much to our wonderful first hour participants, everybody in the comment section. You guys were crazy today, more than I expected, and an incredible first hour guest who did his damn thing. Jason Mortis, a really, really busy guy. Not only is he moderating for Medusa, killing it on his very own Twitch channel, general manager for PIW. He's also a dear friend and somebody to have a tremendous amount of respect for. Before we move on to our featured guest, I must do this. It is obligatory, my friends, so I apologize. I've got to give some love to our wonderful sponsors, beginning with Everything Combat, Pat Milicic, Jay Hollywood, Kincaid Arcade, Esports Bar KC, I-70 Sports Media, Royal Mills Transportation, Painter's Dream Productions, Rathbun Engraving, Mi Fiesta KC Party Rentals, Nobleman's Barber Lounge in Kansas City, Missouri. Remember to ask for Pete the Barber, and of course, the world's premier fantasy wrestling promotion, the FWWC. Now, here in the second hour, we are going to jump immediately in to our second featured interview of the evening with Brian Blade. But before we do that, let me thank everybody who came out this past weekend to our live watch party at Kincaid. You heard me mention them during the sponsor spot there. Kincaid hosted a wonderful event, okay? We absolutely had a blast. We took over Kincaid Arcade at the Oak Park Mall. We enjoyed night one of WrestleMania. We played video games. We had pizza. We played WWE 2K on PlayStation 5. We played Madden. We played Call of Duty. We filmed some promos, took some pictures. We had an all-out blast. So big shout out to Kincaid. big shout out to everybody that came out, and a major shout out to Team Wrestle Talk for helping put things together, including DeJuan Mills, my partner in crime, my brother from another, the one and only Sonny Mayo, for being there with me from the very beginning to make sure that we had an absolutely kick-ass event. So shout out to you guys. More information on our watch parties over at WrestleTalkPodcast.com/events. Again, it's WrestleTalkPodcast.com/events. Now, without any further ado, allow me the distinct pleasure of welcoming in what I believe is, for the very first time, could it be? I have to go back and check the record books. Ladies and gentlemen, a Hall of Famer, a man who is a champion, and really there's no other way to describe a gentleman of this stature than to call him a champion, because he's a champion of professional wrestling in the Midwest. He's a champion as far as winning matches and kicking ass. And he's also a champion because now he is officially a member of the Wrestle Talk family. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the man himself, the one and only Brian Blade. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thanks for having me.
Bro,
it's great to finally be on.
I've been looking forward to having you on. You know, I know you don't know this. I've been a fan of yours for a long time, bro. MWA is a big deal. And I'm going to tell you why. You guys aren't stationary. You take the show on the road. And that's something that we don't see as often, because it's so hard to even just get like one venue, right? But some guys like you that kind of are a little bit further ahead than some of us, are not afraid to take the chance of kind of moving yourself around and building an audience beyond that one town. Brian, I'm going to go ahead and start with that. Talk to us about what it means to have a promotion that is popular not just in one town, but in several areas throughout the Midwest, man. That is a huge deal, and something I think a lot of promotions are striving for, not only in the past, but here in 2020, man. Let's talk about it.
Well, it's a lot of work to start with. You got to find sponsors, you got to find venues, you got to find places that'll sell you tickets. You got to, there's a lot of time on the road. You got to go out and put the posters up, and you got to go meet the people, and you got to put in the work online. And there's a lot that goes into it. And I think a lot of guys don't realize, how much time it actually takes. But we enjoy it. I think from the time I was a kid, I wanted to be Vince McMahon, I guess, as a kid, or the Crockett's, Vern Gagne. Hey, you go town to town to town. And to me, that's how wrestling is supposed to be. And, our home base, the MWA home base, is kind of Lincoln, Nebraska. That's, we hit that more often than anything else. But it's good for the wrestlers. It's good. And we get out to places like, say, McCook, Nebraska this week, where they're not going to get pro wrestling. It's not going to happen anymore. Back in the late 60s, early 70s, every now and then there'd be a spot show there for either Vern or for Bob Geigel, doing something out there maybe once a year, if that, sometimes once every 2 years. This is a way to bring entertainment to places that's not always going to get it. And it's a lot of fun. You get to meet new people, you get to go out to new places. And I can always say, hey, we're a touring company, which very few places can say.
Absolutely true. And I'll tell you what, that was the one thing that really stuck out to me, because to be successful in one town is one thing, but to be able to kind of take the show on the road, I read it, and you may know him. So our boy Danny Duggan up in Canada does these like 30 show deals where he goes from the west side of Canada and travels east. And I know you're not quite to that scale yet, but just the fact that you're able to take that show on the road, I mean, it speaks volumes, bro, because not everybody's got the courage to do that. You're not only talking about the building, the chairs, the ring, and all this sort of thing, but you're also talking about, promoting in different towns. And it makes me kind of wonder, do you tend to have like foot soldiers at some of these different locations that you go to? Because I know how important it is to have guys on the ground that are actually putting up the posters and talking to their cousin and their high school friend and all that. So I imagine there are people that are kind of on the ground floor that are helping you with some of that promotion, right?
In a few places, not everywhere. There's some places I go and do it all myself. Like Lincoln, Nebraska, right? We do. I got people in Illinois. When we do shows in Illinois, I got people in Illinois that help. Like North Platte, Nebraska, I have people that help. But like McCook, nice. Kind of all my deal. I went out there, postered the whole town, talked to everybody. Me and Bobby Burr, Bubbles, he goes out and helps poster with me a lot of times. So he's one of the guys that come out on the ground. Beatrice, got a few people helping me there for that event. But there's a lot of events I go out I just, I'm by myself, or me and Bobby are going out and we're posting these places together, talking to the people, trying to get sponsors. And so it can be very time
So
consuming.
wait, you're telling
sometimes.
me old school stuff like putting up posters still works, Brian? Is that what you're saying?
It works a lot better. I'll put it this way. I've learned that it works okay in a bigger city, but it really works in a small town. The bigger cities, you got to find, you can still put up posters, but you got to find creative ways to put things up because
Get your
corporate places
marketing
won't
out.
take posters.
Yeah.
So you
yeah,
kind of got to
exactly.
get
Ding
creative
for littering.
sometimes.
You get dinged for
Yeah.
littering. There's no question about it. Well, okay, so jumping from that to something else. Obviously, you're having some success as a promoter, being able to travel around and do some things like that. But you've also been extremely successful inside the ring. I'm going to throw a couple of names at you, and just right off the top of your head, if you're okay with it, I want you to give me your thoughts. Is that okay?
Yeah, that works.
Okay, let's start with one that is near and dear to my heart because he was recently a guest here on the Wrestle Talk podcast. Talk to us about your relationship with Donnie Dodge.
Donnie's a great guy. I've known Donnie for quite a while now. He was actually the first day I went and trained. He was actually in the ring training that day as Huska. And but Donnie's done an incredible job with the Hall of Fame. I love doing everything I can to try to help him out. I'm trying to help him find a permanent building for the Hall of Fame. I've been trying to. It's not easy.
Right now they're a
building
traveling road show, right? That's kind of
right.
Okay, which is awesome.
And I think Donnie wants to. I don't want to put words in Donnie's mouth, but I think even if we found a permanent building, he likes to travel to different shows in the state of Nebraska to show off the Hall of Fame and give other
their
people
setup
in
is
other places.
incredible. They've got some really awesome memorabilia. Like I know when he came on, he was like, "You guys should see some of the stuff that we have," and I'm like, "I can't wait! I can't wait!"
Yeah, he's done an incredible job with that Hall of Fame. I mean, from where it started to where it is now, he's, I can't say enough about how much he cares, how much it means to him, and how much time and dedication he puts into it.
I apologize there, a little cough. Number two, I saw a picture as I was doing my research, a guy who was forced, I think, into a little bit of a retirement. I actually was there for his retirement party. Incredible speech and not a dry tear in the whole place, or not a dry eye in the entire place. My mistake. Tommy Snow, another staple of pro wrestling in the Midwest. What are your thoughts on the Midwest legend, Tommy Snow?
I love Tommy. One of the good guys in the business. I wish he never had to retire. Love being around Tommy. We didn't take a lot of road trips together. We took a few together. I just love being around Tommy. He's a great guy, brightens a room. Some people wouldn't call him the greatest wrestler in the world, but man, he could entertain with anybody.
Hell yeah.
The fans were always behind Tommy. Tommy knew what his job was, knew what his role was, and he did it better than anybody else could.
Well, there's no doubt about it, and I think that's why he is so affectionately appreciated by a lot of the talent here throughout the Midwest, particularly in Kansas. I know the young guys really gravitate to him, and I think he's a great guy to gravitate to. And let Brian Blade tell it. If there's a guy you should have some respect for, without a shadow of a doubt, it is Tommy Snow. And then I'm jumping to my third name here. And this one is more than one name, actually, because you've been a busy guy throughout your career. And on top of wrestling a lot of our Midwest legends, you've also wrestled some big name legends, including L.A. Parka, Super Crazy, James Storm, Lance Archer, Aiden English, Sanjay Dutt, Jerry Lynn. The list goes on and on. Out of all those names, Rey Mysterio Sr., Kamala, out of all those names, is there one that particularly stands out to you as maybe one of your favorite or most fun matches with a quote-unquote name?
I like working with James Storm. I mean, we just at this point, we have really good chemistry in the ring. It goes really well. Jerry Lynn was a pleasure to work with.
I can imagine.
Guy's brilliant. Just so smooth, so easy to work with. Really all those guys. Aiden English, who now works as Matthew Rewalt, another great guy. I mean, he's a guy that, people should book if you're looking to book a name. Guy is great to work with. great in the back. Just a hell of a nice guy.
Did you get to
Can't
hear
say
him
enough
sing?
about him.
I have to ask that question. Did you get to hear him sing?
No, we didn't. We didn't get the part of him singing, but
Okay, yeah, he's an amazing
should have made
singer.
him sing the national anthem or something.
Well, we tried that earlier in today's show, and the ratings immediately plummeted. I mean, we really did. It was bad, right? Right, Dick?
That was because of you. I quite frankly, I completely thought it was a terrible idea. The fans said so, and we saw.
I'm
But
having audio problems. What do you want me to do, brother?
What do you want me to do? I see how he comes to the politician to ask. It's always about they come to you to ask for questions. And then whenever you do something, they get even more mad at you for doing something about it. I just won't anymore. But I don't want to take away from the streak. Goodness, Renee, you got me all going. I'm sick, and now you got me excited. This is bullshit. I'm sorry.
All right, Brian. Well, and I know you've got your own questions there, Richard, but I do want to jump back in here. So, Brian, we talked about Donnie Dodge just a few minutes ago, and obviously you had some great things to say. You talked about the Hall of Fame. I hope you don't mind if I do this. Recently, word came out, and the Wrestle Talk podcast all over the Midwest pro wrestling news, that you, sir, may be an inductee in the Nebraska Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. I think that it's absolutely 100% well-deserved, but you walked in those boots. So if that is indeed the case, do you feel like you deserve it? And if so, what does it mean to you, man? Because it's a big deal, dude. You're going to be in the history books, and not like like the Guinness Book of World Records for like burping the most time in 30 seconds or something ridiculous like that. Like you're going into like a real Hall of Fame.
Don't say anything. Don't contradict, Renee. You were trying to set that record a week ago. I saw you at that Chipotle. I saw you at that Chipotle.
No. I told you the record I was trying to say is from most days without a shower. And that's the one I was working on. Okay. Get your story straight. But Brian, anyway, on to something important. What does that mean? How does it make you feel? Do you think you're worthy, man? Lay it on us.
It's a great honor. I'm overjoyed that I was able to get in. Like I said, it's an incredible honor. When Donnie called me and told me they were going to induct me, I really didn't have words. Deserve. I mean, I don't know. I guess I've never thought about, do I deserve or not deserve to get in? I mean, that's up to Donnie, the Hall of Fame committee, the fans. All I do is go out and give everything I can to the people. I try to put smiles on faces, put on the best matches I can, give people the best entertainment, action, and value for their money that I can. And I hope that's enough. It's great to see that my work is paid off. But it's hard to say deserve or not deserve, because that's up to somebody. That's up to somebody else to decide whether I'm deserving of that or not. But it's an incredible honor, and I'm very appreciative of Donnie and the Nebraska Hall of Fame.
So what you're saying is you're not going to do the Barry Horowitz and pat yourself on the back.
No, as soon as I pat myself on the back, somebody want to kick me in the ass. So.
Yeah, that's right. You damn right about that. Because if you're patting yourself on the back, you're definitely not watching it. We do actually have a question from one of our guys here in St. Louis. Dick Douglas, you want to take that for us?
I do, just because it's Chris Rodell's question, and just the satisfaction I can get from him getting so angry I get to read it is just phenomenal. What does Jason Strife mean to Nebraska wrestling?
Good question. I guess I never thought about something like that. He does a great job in Omaha putting on a Magnum Pro Wrestling. Jason's great in the ring himself. I mean, he's done quite a bit in the ring. Right now he's going through some health issues, and I wish him nothing but the best. I hope everything works out for him. And he's done a great job with Magnum Pro at Omaha. And, me and him used to have some problems. We kind of buried the hatchet. I think we, got over our issues. We worked, we kind of worked together a little bit here and there now. And he's done a great job. Magnum Pro is going really strong in Omaha. So I hope they're able to keep it up. And like I said, I hope he gets over all his health issues.
Right.
Same.
Before I flip it back over to you, Renee, I got to ask you this, Brian. You've been around, to see a lot of different generations of wrestling, and how is the the vibe? How has the atmosphere in the locker room maybe changed over the, the course of, the last decade? And do you think the independent scene is still doing as strong as it was in the early 2000s? What's your correlation in the early 2000s up until now?
I think now the independent scene is probably stronger overall than what it was in the early 2000s. I mean, in the early 2000s, when I first started, I really didn't hardly even know there was an independent scene, to be honest with you.
Right.
And then I started traveling around and seeing that. I think wrestling is really strong today, independent wise. I think, for the fans, they get a chance to see different type of wrestling in different places here and there. The locker room, it kind of depends where you go. The locker rooms are different, no matter where you go. It depends if they got a lot of young people, a lot of older, a lot of veterans or not. It depends who's controlling the locker room. Who train certain guys, who's training guys. The MWA locker room we got a lot of veterans in the locker room, so the locker room's always really good. If you're not good in the locker room, if you're not good outside the locker room, we don't want you in it. You got to go.
Right.
There's a lot of young guys that somebody never taught about locker room etiquette at times, and that can be a problem in some places, and people got to understand that there are some people that are going to be a cancer in your locker room, and you got to get them out. And that's even, that's from there to now. There's always going to be certain people that just don't get along, just don't fit in, just don't understand what you're trying to accomplish.
Right. Absolutely.
Well, I will say this. I'm curious because we talk about the health of independent wrestling today, and I agree. I think it's as healthy as it's ever been, as long as I've been paying attention to it. Do you, and I've had this conversation a lot with my friends in the St. Louis pro wrestling area, do you worry about oversaturation sometimes? It almost seems like a lot of the same guys are working in multiple promotions within kind of the same region and area. I know at least a little bit of that is happening here within the Kansas City, is what I call anything from here to 2.5 hours out. Do you ever worry about that? And if so, how do you combat it?
Well, in Nebraska, I really don't, because Magnum and PWP kind of run in Omaha. I run Lincoln and a lot of the rest of the towns in the state. So in Nebraska, I really don't. We're not stepping on each other's toes. We're not putting on shows. We're not trying to affect each other. I do my thing. They do their thing. We're not trying to affect each other's business. Whereas a lot of places, I've noticed, there's a lot of promotions now in Kansas and a lot more popping up. Chicago, where I put on some shows in the Chicago suburbs area, there is a glut of shows there. It's like everybody and their mother owns a wrestling ring and a wrestling promotion, it seems at times. And it's bad there. They would rather lose $500 to slit your throat than to let you make $10. It's just they're awful to each other, and I don't understand why. There's not, I'm sure you've heard of the Berwyn's Eagles Club there in Chicago.
Yep.
At any one time, there are 8 to 10 promotions working out of that building, which it's just ridiculous for promotions to work, that many promotions to work out of one building. There are days they have 3 shows in a day in that building.
If you're the owner of that building, you got to be one healthy guy financially, or girl. I don't know, but
he's doing well.
That's incredible.
He has a ring in there, and he makes you rent the ring and the building. So
right, yeah, because if you guys bring your ring in, you're going to ruin my floor. So you got to use this one.
So yep. So it just, that ring just stays in there. So yeah, smart guy there. But yeah, there could be there's a glut. You have, it depends. Certain. It seems like the Wichita, Hutchinson, Salina area is getting. It seems like there's another promotion. Seems like kind of pops up anymore quite often. It seems like there's not a whole lot over in the eastern side of Kansas. TAPW with what Eric's doing over there, but he's kind of staying in the whole Harrington, Junction City, Abilene kind of areas. And then outside of that, you get over to Kansas City, and there's a few over there, but it seems like the glut, like in Kansas, is all on one side of Kansas.
Right. And I will say, as somebody who has struggled for content to a certain extent within my own city, I think like the last year and a half has kind of given us some reason to be optimistic. With Journey Pro getting their new building, KCXW coming back. Perry, Kansas is only an hour from here, so yeah, I think we are definitely behind, not only with Western Kansas in comparison to Western Kansas, but also on the other side of Missouri, which we also share a city with, KCK, KC St. Louis. I think we should all almost be striving to kind of do what they're doing with being able to host a Royal Rumble and then everything else concerning, in Mr. Douglas, I know you can speak to this probably better than me. Like, you guys are almost spoiled. Like, there isn't a weekend without professional wrestling, and sometimes even like a Thursday or a Friday. So,
well, right. And on top of that, too, before I give it back to you, it's a lot of that is about, a good working relationship with promotions, too, because, it doesn't do a service to the fans when you're running 4 shows on the same day at the same time in 3 different buildings. I mean, really, if that's what people want to do, they can. They're more than, obligated to do so. But I think they're doing a good job now of making a good dynamic, a good schedule for fans of all wrestling in the St. Louis area.
You got to take everyone into consideration. So, yeah, I guess that's why I asked the question. Maybe in 10 years we'll be having a different conversation, Brian, about oversaturation in Nebraska. I think that the alternate end of that spectrum is probably worse, right? Like no wrestling. That's probably way worse than oversaturation. But, the way I look at it is, if with guys like you at the helm, I think we're going to be in pretty good shape, because I guess you would consider yourself to be somewhat of an old school guy, right? Like respecting the locker room, taking care of the guys in the ring. Would you consider yourself that? And if so, what are you seeing from these young guys that are trying to get booked by you, right? What are you recommending that they work on?
Well, a lot of guys, they want to do moves. They want to turn everything into a spot fest. And a lot of guys don't understand their role on the card or their spot on the card. If you're first on the card, you're not out there to steal the show. I mean, that's not – go have a good, solid match, but have a match that's supposed to be the first match. I've always hated the term steal the show from anybody, because there's a reason, especially when you go to a new place. So if, let's say I go to a new company, whether it's Kansas, Texas, wherever, California, if I'm, depending where my spot is on the card and I'm not in the main event, well, my job isn't to top what your main event's doing. They're the main event for a reason. My job is to go out and entertain the fans to the best of my ability, but without taking away with what the rest of the company is doing, especially my first time at a new company. And then, even if you've been to a company a few times, you still got to know your spot on the card and talk to other guys and talk to the promoters. Hey, what are you guys doing? Or what do you have going? Are you guys going outside the ring? I mean, too many times, there's a lot of times I'll tell somebody, hey, don't go outside the ring. What they do is still go outside the ring. It's like, I told you don't go outside the ring. This match over here is going outside the ring. It's like, do your thing inside the ring. A lot of young guys don't, and a lot of people don't teach it, know what your role is on the card. And, if you're the first match, okay, you're supposed to go out there and get the crowd hyped up, this and that, but you're not supposed to do every move that everybody else is going to do the rest of the night. You're not there to steal the show. You're there to get the crowd hyped up for the rest of the show to the best of your ability, without taking away from what everybody else is doing that night.
Do you have any band? Okay, I know this is a crazy off the wall question. Do you have any like band moves? Is there anything you're like, guys, I don't want you guys doing Canadian destroyers on the outside? Do you give guys any sort of parameters like that? I'm curious.
I tell guys not to bump on the apron, because my apron on my ring is as solid as can be. So if you bump on that, you may not walk away afterwards. I tell people that. I tell guys to be smart. If you're gonna do something, if you think about doing something stupid, come talk to me first, so I can tell you yay or nay.
Because I've probably already done it, and I can tell you whether it's worth it or not.
Yeah, and it's just is somebody else doing something stupid or stupid later that you don't want to outshine what they're trying to do. It's just a matter of I want everyone to be careful, be safe, be smart, but put on the best show you can. I mean, if you can do the move and the other guy's comfortable taking it and doing it, then that's fine, as long as it's going to be a safe bump for both of you. But we don't need taking people to the hospital, or you don't need to be stitched up. You don't need to be concussed. Most independent guys have to go back to work Monday morning, or sometimes back to work Sunday.
Oh, I feel you. Absolutely feel you on that. Yeah, got to be responsible, guys. You got to take care of each other. Well, I listen to you talk, and I think that there's definitely like a connection there that's happening, maybe not always to perfection, but between the vets and the youngsters, and you guys kind of bringing them along, teaching them the respect, teaching them the safety aspect. And I think it always helps, Brian, to bring in somebody who kind of represents that old school mentality. I'm going to go ahead and pull up an image and share it with everybody of your upcoming event for MWA. Okay. And as you guys can see right in the middle of the poster, and we'll go back and go over all the details, I promise, the one and only Supermex. He is mega popular, really all over the place. But here in the Midwest, guys love to book him. I'm curious, man, what prompted you to bring in a Supermex, a guy that's been around the business for a long, long time? He's had respect for a long, long time. Does he kind of fit in with the culture of your locker room? Why kind of make the decision to bring a guy like that in?
Well, he fits in. I've known Sean for, I don't know, probably 10, 12 years now. Just been trying to find the right time to bring him in, and this kind of worked out. We're doing, a 3-day, 3 days in a row. And I thought in a town like McCook, they've always asked, I've never brought a name into McCook before, and they've always like, hey, can you maybe bring a name? Getting to McCook is not the easiest thing in the world for guys sometimes, trying to get a flight booked to somewhere. And then, a lot of guys don't want to be in a car, fly to somewhere and have to still be in a car for 3-4 hours. And so trying to get somebody to McCook wasn't the easiest, but this 3-day kind of little mini tour we're doing worked out good. Sean was available all 3 days. He wanted to work all 3 days, and we're bringing them to towns that, most of the time we were not going to bring a name into, and see how it goes. Ticket sales have been great. Front row's almost gone. Table seats, I actually added more tables because we actually sold out of our tables right away. So we added a few more tables to see if we could get a few more people to want to buy tables.
Right. And by the way, my guesstimation is that after you coming on with us here, which by the way, this has been an outstanding interview. I know my counterpart here, Mr. Douglas, would absolutely agree with that. Hopefully, and I don't want to jinx it, I think after today, we're going to help you sell out that front row. That's what we do here on the Wrestle Talk podcast, man. That's crossing my fingers over here. I mean that.
You guys doing a great job, man. I appreciate being on too. And you guys, what you guys do for wrestling is, especially in the Midwest area, is great.
And you know what? And we're smart enough to know that you just bring on main eventers like you, and everything pretty much takes care of itself. I mean, that's a legit deal. You know what I mean? So before we get on to the final portion of this interview, I did have one non-wrestling related question, and I think you're going to enjoy the conversation. So Brian Blade, I see your shirt. I see you representing the Huskers. Okay. You got to tell me how it feels to watch the Jayhawks of all Big 12 teams walk away with the national championship on Monday night. What's the Cornhuskers perspective? Because I've already gotten the Mizzou fans perspective. And let me tell you, I couldn't probably put that on the podcast. It was riddled with profanity, disrespect, and all kinds of nastiness.
And rightfully so.
Oh, wait a second now. Oh, did I pull back a Band-Aid or something, Mr. Douglas?
No, I was just stating a fact. I mean, I'm gonna leave Brian with the honors here, on the perspective. But fuck them. I mean, that's.
What does the Cornhusker have to say about Nebraska winning the national championship? I got to get your thoughts.
Well, I was kind of happy for Kansas.
Okay.
The way they came back was incredible.
15.
That was an incredible comeback, man.
It's
that was
huge.
a great. At halftime, I'm like, yeah, they'll make a run. They'll make it close. I didn't think they'd come back and win, and they made an incredible run. The first 10 minutes of the second half was insane. Basketball-wise, Nebraska is not a basketball school right now. They're not even a football school. But I love Nebraska. But I'm also a big Creighton basketball fan. I grew up watching Creighton. I used to have season tickets to Creighton. So Kansas beating Creighton was the one that upset me more than anything. But Creighton was down a lot of guys.
We didn't know that about you.
Creighton played their ass off. That was one tough team, and for Creighton having that many guys down and only being able to play 6 guys, I was very impressed that Creighton was able to play Kansas that tough. I mean, I think they really gave Kansas possibly their toughest test in the whole tournament, really.
Well, we all know Kansas has lost and choked early on in the tournament before to a couple of I don't want to call Creighton a no-name team, no disrespect, but you know what I'm saying. Like Kansas was picked to be kind of in the Sweet 16, and yeah, they've choked before. I've lived here now almost 20 years, growing up in South Florida, and Kansas hasn't. They haven't always been as successful as they were yesterday. Let's just say that.
Yeah. I didn't think Kansas won the national title this year. I didn't think this was one of their most talented teams. I thought they were good. I just didn't think they were They've had more talented teams, I think, that didn't win
I
a
agree.
national championship than this one that won the national championship. Everything fell into place.
Right.
They played a great game. No, I'm happy for Kansas. I don't have animosity against Kansas.
That's awesome.
It's not like Nebraska's basketball program is not like it's ever been on Kansas' level, or there's like this giant rivalry. Whenever Nebraska beat Kansas, it was great. But it's not like there's
it's win of the year.
yeah, it's not like, oh my God, Kansas won. I hate them because
it's
Nebraska's
Kansas.
never been
They
good
win
at
all the time.
basketball.
Oddly enough, you
Yeah.
bring up that point that they've had better teams. They had Joel Embiid and didn't win a national championship. It's like,
right.
It's kind of weird. So real quick comment here before we get into the final portion of the interview from the Nebraska Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. Shout out to Donnie there and the rest of the boys and ladies helping to get things done over there. It says, proud to have a talented and driven man like Blade representing the Nebraska Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame is a better place because of hardworking promoters and workers like Brian. I know we already got your reaction, but man, what does that mean to you? That's really freaking awesome.
That means a lot. I appreciate that, Donnie. He's seen at times how hard I work, and there's times I'm working to exhaustion, traveling place to place. I mean, there's nights that I don't sleep, that I haven't slept to get stuff done. There's, sometimes the MWA travel schedule, I don't sleep. I got to get to the next town. I start to set up, and there's times I don't sleep for 40, 42 hours, 43 hours at a time sometimes, because I'm getting everything done, set up, getting the shows done, and moving to the next town sometimes. So, you got to be able to put in the work. Like you were talking about Danny and his promotions. I'm good friends with Danny. I talk to Danny all the time. Me and him just went to West Virginia a few weeks ago together.
West Virginia, holy smith!
Yeah,
Mountaineer country, baby. Shout out.
That's the first time I actually wrestled in West Virginia. So I've been east, never to West Virginia, but beautiful country out there.
Oh man, yeah, it's like Tennessee, dude. You want to like drive through it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's pretty awesome. I guess
I don't know how Danny does it though.
Yeah, some people are out of their minds. That's what it is. they got a screw loose up there. Which brings me to my last question, and it's maybe a little bit more on the serious side, and then we'll get into something light and funny and close this thing out. I don't mean to pry, but I have to ask this question because I have family, I've got children, my wife, blah blah blah, or whatever. How do you balance your schedule with work, wrestling, and family? Like, do they just have this understanding? This is kind of what I do, and they've learned to accept it, or have you had struggles? And if so, what have you done to kind of overcome those things? Because I know that sometimes I get a lot of heat just for even doing this. You know what I mean? Let alone being on the road and not sleeping for 45 hours like some people. So your perspective, man, to any extent that you want.
It's hard. It's hard sometimes. They've got to come to accept it. They know, they know this is what I do. And it's hard sometimes on some of these runs to be gone as long as I am before I get back. But they understand for the most part. There's some times where if I've got a full month of bookings and I'm not there, for any weekend in the month, where like July and August get insanely busy for wrestling. Where we're doing our regular shows, plus we got a lot of fair shows and festival shows going on, and those 2 months are just insanely busy. Then plus work, but you have to find some sort of a balance in there, and I think I found a pretty decent balance most of the time. I'm not going to say 100% all the time, but they understand, and I think it's easier these days than what it used to be. You got FaceTime on your phone.
Yeah,
you can still
that goes a long way.
See, it's not like, you're making a phone call from a pay phone once a week or every now and then when you get to the hotel room back in the day. Hey, I'm still alive. But I need to sleep. I got to talk to you later. You can
phone
FaceTime
cards.
and there,
Who remembers phone cards?
Yep.
I know I did.
So,
or waiting till after 9 o'clock to make calls so that you got 3 minutes. Anybody else? Am I the only one? Okay, maybe.
You just got to make the most of the time you have. I mean, you got to try to do your best to make the most of the time you have, and and that's all you can do. The best is all you can do, and you hope you have people that understand at home. If I was going out and this was a losing money enterprise all the time, then there would probably be problems. But right now, the MWA, myself, we're rolling pretty good. Things are going well. We got sponsorships. We're getting fans. We're great attendance. We're, last week we we got over $2,000 for the Chicago Adaptive Sports Organization. We made for them. So it's, things are going well. And, as long as things go well, that helps a little bit. If I'm going out and I'm losing $500 to $1,000 a night wrestling, then there's probably other problems that'll come up.
Well, yeah, I imagine the warden back home or whoever it is that we, we're all accountable to somebody. Probably not going to tolerate that for very long. I can concur. I can concur because I had a very small event this weekend myself, and if we don't cover the costs, then there's going to be trouble back at the home front. So I can absolutely relate. So on that note, let's go ahead and switch this thing up. I want to play into your competitive nature because doing my research, learned a lot of things about you. You're a tremendous wrestler. You absolutely love your family. As a promoter, you're one of the top guys. That's why you're going into the Hall of Fame. Again, shout out to Nebraska Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. But anyway, your competitive nature, I think, has a lot to do with your success. And so I want to play into that a little bit in tonight's edition of the Wrestle Talk podcast game show challenge. And if I'm not mistaken, the dice were rolled and Richard Douglas will actually be our host, and it'll be the Night Owl going one-on-one against the champ, Brian Blade, in a little bit of a trivia challenge. I'm game. Brian, are you game?
All right, we'll try this. We'll see what happens.
Okay, Renee. So go ahead and settle down and let the host do his job here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Brian, I have been tormented with this damn game for so long. I've been cheated. Fans have called in to give it. It's not worth it. So I hope you sweep them. And I'm looking forward to the game show challenge. So on that note, I'm ready.
Let's do it.
All right.
Do we do music yet?
Let's see. What's our music guy saying? Do we have music? Game show challenge. Hit it. No,
on tonight's episode.
Apparently not. Okay, we're still working on that, folks.
It's all good. Welcome to this week's installment of Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge, the world famous Game Show Challenge. Renee Martinez. Tonight's contest is scheduled for the best 2 out of 3 falls. Tonight's contestants are the Night Owl, Renee Martinez, and the future winner of this competition, Brian Blade. In a few moments, I will ask you 3 questions about a particular topic in professional wrestling. And whenever you think you know it, just shout it out. There's no time constraints. The first person to get it right wins the question. And the first one to get 2 questions right wins the competition. Renee Martinez, am I right here? You're giving me sign language. I'm not a part of that delegation.
I'm processing. So 2 out of 3 falls. You give clues. As soon as we think we know the answer, we just
shout them out.
Okay. Any limits on the shout? I mean, can we just
No, like the I Need Cash Now commercial, like shout them as loud as you can, as many times as you want.
it's my money and I want it now. Okay, got you.
So tonight's category for the Game Show Challenge is titled Fast Facts. And I will give a series of facts about 3 professional wrestlers. When you think you know which professional wrestler I'm talking about, shout out your answer, and the first to win the first 2 questions wins the competition. So it's just 3 facts about a certain wrestler, Renee, because you look a little puzzled, and I just want to slow it down here.
Cool.
3 topics, particular wrestler. First one to shout it out wins. We need 2 out of 3 for the title. Does that sound good to you guys?
It works.
Awesome. Well, question 1. This wrestler is a second-generation professional wrestler. Born in North Carolina, accomplished high school amateur wrestler, state championship in the state of Georgia. Former NWA and ROH World Heavyweight Champion. Founding member of AEW.
James Storm.
Close. Good guess, though. Returned.
Cody Rhodes?
Who?
Cody Rhodes.
There you go. Renee. That was a tough one. I don't create the questions. I
always
just
think Georgia when I think of the roads, but yes, North Carolina. Okay.
Yep, I get that. Question number 2 with Renee being up for not very long. This wrestler was born in Junction City, Kansas. He was a 4-year NAIA All-American. 15
Bobby Lashley.
Absolutely. We're tied at 1.
What?
That was quick. That was. I didn't even get to the whole MMA thing yet. Yeah,
Gosh.
actually.
Dude, I
For
live
all
in
the
Kansas. How did I
marbles.
not know that?
Well, don't let me get going here. It's
Don't try to demoralize me, Douglas. Don't do it.
We're tied at 1. Next one is gonna win it. Here we go. Question 3. This wrestler is born in Minnesota. Accomplished amateur wrestler.
Kurt Hennig.
No. Accomplished
Curtis
amateur
Axel.
wrestler.
Curtis Axel.
No.
Okay, sorry. Brock
Accomplished
Lesnar.
No. Accomplished amateur wrestler. He was the 2017 PWI Rookie of the Year. Won the Money in the Bank ladder match recently.
No.
Regularly
Not Chad Gable.
Regularly teamed with Tucker Knight.
Otis.
That is Brian
That's
Blake.
right, baby.
He got it quicker. He
What?
made the winner.
No!
No, sir. No, sir. The B got it right. It was like right there. Brian hit Otis right before he did. And you
What?
can sulk in it.
Oh man, dude!
We don't have the
I feel like
music this
demanding a
damn
replay,
time.
but I'm gonna accept it. I'm gonna accept it because I'm competing against a champion here, and I have to
That's
assume
right.
that boom, he's got me. Dang, man, that was close.
That was close. Hey, that was close. At least this time you didn't cheat the game, Renee, and you were fair and honest. I think it's because a good politician held you accountable. Just like I do in St. Louis. Neither here or there. We're talking about our champion, the new reigning defending Game Show Challenge champion, Brian Blade.
Wow. Well, congratulations to Brian Blade of MWA. Dude, thank you for everything that you have not only done for pro wrestling in Nebraska, but pro wrestling in the Midwest and beyond. Clearly, man, you've gone through it on a lot of different levels, right? From promoter to wrestler to everything in between. And the fact that you're pouring that knowledge back out to the pro wrestling community, which is kind of what Wrestle Talk is. We give you the platform, you say what you want to say, and hopefully wrestling is better because of it. I think we've accomplished that today. And like I said, man, welcome in as the newest member of the Wrestle Talk family. I got to give you, come on, guys. Jay, come on.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. You guys do great work here, and you guys do great for Midwest Pro Wrestling. You do great for all pro wrestling. I mean, you get people on. You guys help everybody out, and it's a blessing that you guys are doing this, and you reach so many people. So thank you guys for all you guys do.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it moving, and I'm gonna keep working on that record. You know what I mean? Longest non-shower, Guinness Book of World Records. I'm gonna keep shooting for that. I'm gonna be honest.
Thank you, Brian. I'm sorry you had to hear that tasteless comment, but no, thank you. Thank you very much.
Brian, any final thoughts? No problem. Any final thoughts on the show, man? It's right around the corner, 3 days out. Drop the knowledge on us, man, please.
Yeah, we got McCook, Nebraska at the auditorium on Friday night. Saturday night, we're in Dorchester, Nebraska at Tabor Hall. Then Sunday afternoon, we're in Beatrice, Nebraska at the Beatrice Auditorium. So we got a 3-day run. I hope everybody can come out and have a good time.
Yeah, let's go. And remember, Sean Hernandez will be in the building along with Brian Blade and so many other. Christian Temple will be there. I think you got Morgan LeVay, a lot of super dope talent that we didn't get a chance to talk about. So thank you, Brian Blade, for being here. And again, welcome as the newest member of the Wrestle Talk family, man. We'll talk to you again very, very soon. Have a good night.
You too. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Take care.
Adios.
See ya.
What? Erie? What? Series arguing with me? You're arguing with me? Man, I had such a dang great time. If it hadn't been for your shenanigans tonight, this would have definitely been a 5 out of 5 super kick show, man. There's no question.
Come on. Well, it depends if Meltzer's great in it. We're in Japan, but that's neither here or there. Before we go, the last time I was sick, and I wasn't. This is a lot better than when I had COVID and did the show with you. That was the brutal one. That was hard to get through, but whenever you have two great guests, makes it easier. In case I should be back on until before the end of the month, right? We have a week 3. It's you and I again. But before then, guys, just keep up to date with Dynamo Pro. We're going to be doing a lot of great work. I'll be in the Keon Option Battle Royal after being completely assaulted by absolute trash fans. They aren't fans. They're lobbyist fans.
Whoa, easy on the paying customer, sir.
And, well, let's be honest. These fans are something I mentioned earlier. They follow a group of wrestlers around. They buy every one of their new shirts. They share every one of their posts because they think they can.
Excuse me, what's wrong with shirts?
No, there's nothing wrong
with supporting. What's wrong with shirts?
Nothing wrong with supporting. What's wrong is when you hijack shows because you think that new wrestlers, new fans of wrestlers don't have a chance to have their voice being heard. And that's what we're stopping in St. Louis. CityOnTheHill.org, Dick Douglas on YouTube, Dynamo Pro Wrestling. Stay up to date and watch me kick everyone's ass the end of the month when Dick Douglas, Democracy, rain down on Dynamo Pro.
Wow. And my man wants to do a mic drop, but I do have one last question. Dear goodness, I wish we had more time tonight. Were you ready for Veer coming, Dick?
Yes.
Okay, everybody have a great night. That brings us to the conclusion.
Oh, wait, no.
Episode
Okay,
389 of the Wrestle Talk podcast. I am the Night Owl. He is Dick Douglas. We'll be here again next week, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Time at WrestleTalkPodcast.com. You heard it here. He's happy that Veer is coming. That is a testament.
Well, I heard Veer
quote from. Have a good night, everybody. Peace.